We got Danny back from... Danny, was it a vacay or was it a gig? Or what was it?
Just a quick vacation. I went to see family.
All right, so Danny's
Down
back
the
on the
beach.
saddle, back east. George and Goes here in Vegas. I think we mention it plenty of times, but we do broadcast here in Las Vegas from the Mandalay Bay Race and Sportsbook. Now listen, we're just a blip on their radar screen, honestly. We are the show that matters. There's no disputing that. But if you ever come to Mandalay Bay, not all 3,000 employees know that where MMAjunkie Radio is. So just ask, where's the sportsbook? And if you ever come to the sportsbook, we face the screens. There's a bar attached to us. Now it's very well lighted. Before Goes, when we had the smaller broom closet studio, we were kind of conspicuous. It was tough to find us. There would be people that walked by. The lighting wasn't as good, and so I would always give people a hard time. Like, seriously, you couldn't find it? But then I noticed that it was tough to, if you weren't paying attention, I think you just gravitated towards the big screens. You look around, you're waiting for a couple momos to just be sitting on a picnic table. But no, we have a proper studio here that faces the big screens, so stop on by and pay us a visit. The show starts at 10. You can walk in with it whenever. But once the show starts, from 10 to 12, we really can't interact with you much other than during the commercial. And most of the time we're putting out fires or maybe taking a picture if a guest is on their way out. So maybe get here a little early. We'd love to meet you all and, see what brings you to Vegas. And we have, water and coffee and Starbucks right behind us.
2 minutes.
If
Kyle Bradley's going to come visit us next week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's going to take us out for a spaghetti dinner.
Kyle Bradley?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a fighter named Kyle Bradley, too?
No, you're thinking of...
I'm not thinking of Kyle Maynard.
It's not Timothy Bradley. I know exactly who you're thinking of. Fuck. What's his first name?
Well,
tall, skinny, white kid, right? Oh, my God. I know who you're talking about. Oh, he's in one of the UFC video games, too. Anyway.
Well, regardless.
No, it's not. He's from London, England.
Okay, have we met Kyle Bradley?
No.
Oh.
Or from Bristol, England.
Then I don't have to feel terrible because I was about to say I'm just going to come clean and say I don't remember a Kyle Bradley. So this will be our first time meeting Kyle Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, we look forward to it. Stop on by anytime. If you do come in while the show's on, then just tiptoe behind the cameras, grab a seat. If we have some extra headphones, we'll plant them on your noggin, and you can listen to the callers. You can listen to Danny, our guests, other than just waiting for us to react and talk. Because sometimes, honestly, if you're just waiting for us to talk, if we're not involved in dialogue with maybe a panel, then there's a lot of quiet time too. So that's why I say it's important to get here early. Maybe Goes is here at like 8:30. I stumble in a little bit later. And if our schedule's clear afterwards, we can sit around and bullshit. We always have a little bit of post-show work to do. But we're here, and this is home for us, and it's your home as well. So, again, we're in Vegas, Mandalay Bay. 10 a.m. is when the show starts. Come on down sometime. Today we're going to talk to King Mo Lawal and Cheyanne Vlismas. Lawal, you all know who he is, former Strikeforce light heavyweight champ, current Bellator light heavyweight contender. Moneyweight is what he is, really. He fights at all kinds of weight classes. And Cheyanne Vlismas, highly rated amateur female fighter out of Extreme Couture. She'll be here in the studio. We'll see what's up next with her. And we'll replay yesterday's Jorge Masvidal interview.
Happy birthday, Christina Baruman.
So here we go.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with gorgeous George and Goes. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes. Ari's co-host, Backy's handling all the producing duties. It's going to be Danny. What's up, Junkie Nation? What's up, guys?
Danny's back. What's up, Danny?
Not too much. How's it going? How was me not being here? How
It was good.
How was that? It was good?
Well, I mean, like,
you guys had-
you know what I mean.
Mike's a little bit of a talker, like 1 minute, 45, 30,
Oh,
20.
yeah, he does do that.
But, you know, him and I didn't have enough interaction where I could tell
that's
him,
more
I
normal,
got this. I got this.
when I listen to other shows,
Mhm.
like when I did Luke's show, I could hear that too.
Really?
But we've kind of told Danny not to do it because what people don't know is he can say those things and the serious audience won't hear him,
Mm-hmm.
but our video audience does hear him.
Mm-hmm.
So early on, we told Danny, just don't do it because
'Cause we got this.
We know, yeah, we
Yeah.
got this. Even though most of the time we don't got this.
Yeah. Well, I have this clock here, and it's pretty much synced up with everything. I was with Danny for a few days in New York, so I verified whatever he's looking at, I'm looking at. So, yeah. I think I take it a little bit too far. Like, literally 28-29. Right before he has to break. And
Yeah.
I probably could just exit at 20 or so. But I'm trying to get as much information out there. I want people to be champions on that day. Don't just take up space on this planet. Go out there and be a champion. Do something. Be the best person in your unit that day, or the best person in your crew, or whatever your job is, or you know, be a great son or a daughter or a great student. Just, I don't know, try to
Lead your
give you a little bit
pack.
of a motivational line on the way out. But if there's anything out there, someone's birthday. We used to do the birthdays until people started getting butthurt that we forgot theirs, so we just left it. Like Gavin McCarran, he's somebody, I think he's part of the Facebook era for MMAjunkie. And I don't remember seeing his name pop up as much as I did when we started on Facebook.
Gavin's a nice guy.
With the Facebook chat. And so I saw that it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to him. Saludos a Argentina. There was a gentleman in our Facebook chat from Argentina. He said, hey, please shout out Argentina. So
Oh, nice.
I'm shouting out Argentina.
They have one of the cooler chants as a country when they just go, Argentina, Argentina, and they all go, dude, it's loud, man.
Yeah. Well, they also have ole,
Like, I'll give you an example.
ole, ole.
We're Peru, right? When they chant Peru, it just doesn't sound as
Cada día te quiero más. Oh, Argentina. I mean, a lot of the countries, you know, just change the lyrics. But I remember they made one of these stadiums really loud in Germany when we were there for the World Cup. Of course,
Oh, you went to that game. I
it
didn't
was
go to
a
that game.
dud game. It was Argentina against Holland.
Who would have thought?
A
right?
lot of superstars. I was expecting 4-3. It was 0-0. Bummer. Yeah. Anyway, so some happy birthdays, some shout outs. But I also want to bring something up. In 2011, we lost our friend Sean Tompkins. He was a friend of the show. He co-hosted frequently. He was a Vegas resident for many years. He was also the head coach of Team Tompkins, but also the striking coach for Extreme Couture. We got to know him very well. And it was his anniversary of passing yesterday, which would have been 6 years. Can you believe that, guys?
Wow.
And today, 1 year ago today, we lost Rick Budo.
1 year ago?
1 year. Today's the day.
No.
Today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was August 15th of 2016. Yeah, Rick Budo, who used to call into the show.
Wow,
And,
it's
you know,
almost
he
a
was
year.
our closer. We would call him our closer. So, again, the Facebook and the YouTube audience may not know this, but we had a caller from New York for the last 9 years. We've been a show that's been in existence for 10 years. But even prior to that, he called into another show that Goes and I listened to for about 3 or 4 years. And on our show, we called him the closer, the Mariano Rivera. I picked the closer from one of the New York Yankee teams, or one of the New York teams, and Rivera's as good as they get. But he would always close the show. We'd even stay a little bit of OT. And he was hilarious because we could butt heads back and forth. And then at the end, he'd just go, all right.
I told you, every day it was an episode of Tom and Jerry with you two.
It was funny, man. We'd go back and forth on a lot of stuff. We never were able to get him to a junkie gathering. And come to find out, I don't know if I told you this, but no matter what you may have heard, there's probably a good chance he may not have been able to come. And have I ever told you why not?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll share because I when I was in New York for a few days, I talked to a few people that were very close to him, and I found out some more things about Rick, and he was really just based in New York, and the likelihood of him getting out wasn't too great. Even though he may have told us, I'm thinking about it, or if somebody had a conversation, he's close to pulling the trigger or whatever. No, it probably wouldn't have happened. But that doesn't mean he was a bad guy or anything like that. Either way, I still would have wanted to meet him. I know that if my trip to New York had been while he was alive, I for sure
we did
would have
drop
went
the
out
ball.
of. Huh?
We did drop the ball because we did go to New York one time where we probably could have.
It makes sense because those were his hours.
Yeah.
We went to a UFC. It was UFC 78 with Bisping and Rashad. They were the headliners. And afterwards, we did go into the city. But I would say that was in 2007. I remember.
We met the Hammer.
We had just started the show. And I wouldn't say we were as close to Rick as we had gotten because the show had just started getting going again. In fact, I'm not even so sure Rick was calling in at that time. There was a 1-2 punch, Sam from Pennsylvania, Rick from New York. And they called into the Sound Off show with Ryan Bennett and Frank Trigg. When Ryan Bennett passed away, the show didn't start again for another 3 or 4 months with Damon Martin and Jeff Kane. Trigg wound up not doing anything until he started again with Tag Radio about 10 months later. Trigg and I went to Costa Rica in 2008, and on that trip, we talked about Rick Budo and Sam Aljam and Ryan Bennett, and somehow we got their numbers and just said, what's the deal? Why don't you do that thing where you used to in the past? Call in and let's talk MMA. And so Sam started calling, and I guess around that time maybe Rick came back. So it goes, we did drop the ball in a way, but I would say at the time we just weren't clicking like we were the last 5 or 6 years where Rick was a staple on the show, a character. And
Well, maybe when you guys went back for the serious meeting?
that was in 2008 we went back. So even then I'm not so sure that because as bad as my memory can be, there are times where I can go, like I remember being there and at some point thinking, oh man, I should have seen so and realizing that I could have but didn't. So I don't remember having that feeling yet. So it may not have even been that Rick was back in the fold consistently till maybe later, 2010, 2011. I'm not so sure. But regardless, man, like when I was in New York, I had a Budo shirt that was given to me, and he traveled everywhere with me, and I was always placing Budo everywhere I went. He went. So there's a Rick Budo tribute page on Facebook. I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of other people do it. So a few people have been having some celebrations. I think there's a mass for him tonight in New York. But he touched a lot of people, man. He was really, really cool. And Sean Tompkins, man, I mean, he really gave us the time of day. He welcomed us into his gyms and was always very open on the show. And even the one time we butted heads, if you've ever asked about any unfortunate moments we've ever had, his name would be in there. Because we did have an incident with Sean Tompkins, but
man, I got served up in that one.
We were able to squash it. And it was so cool to have that experience in a way because it's bound to happen. And imagine having it with someone that's hard-headed, and just can't, I guess, talk things out or whatever. So I'll share that with you right now. If I'm not mistaken, this was when it all started with an episode with King Mo and Ariel Helwani in our studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kid Cope. Kid Cope used to date Gina Carano. And so this was 2009, I believe. I don't know why I'm throwing that date out, but I know it was in the studio. Yeah, it was about 2009. And it was a few years before Sean passed away because I remember being cool with Sean for a while then after that. So maybe 2009, 2000. But I think Kid Cope and so King Mo used to live in Vegas. Kid Cope used to live in Vegas. I think he lives somewhere maybe in Utah or Idaho now. He's more of a Muay Thai fighter, but he dabbled in MMA. Good friend with the Diaz brothers. So I'm just connecting dots for everybody. But he used to date Gina Carano, so a lot of guys would, give him that cyber fist bump. Oh, man, you used to date Gina Carano because Gina Carano was it. She was a great fighter, pretty girl, Vegas-based. And Ariel had asked Kid a question about Gina. and then you can fill in some spaces here. But somehow, Kit got to talking about Extreme Couture, right?
No, I think he brought up like there could be a sex tape or something.
Oh yeah, that was one thing, but that's not.
But yeah,
how do we get to Sean? He called him Extreme Fashion.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because that was the En Vogue gym or because maybe Extreme Couture was a clothing line. So I don't know why he called him that, but he called him Extreme Fashion. He went out of his way to say it 3, 4, or 5 times, and almost like if you have Tony Ferguson on the show and you ask him about Conor, he's not going to call him McGregor, he's going to call him McNuggets. So that's what Kit Cope was doing. He just kept saying Extreme Fashion, Extreme Fashion. So we kind of giggled the first couple times. I get it. But then he kept going. We're like, all right, so this guy must have, like, beef with them or whatever. And not every Vegas fighter trains at Extreme Couture, so it could be that there just must have been a run-in or maybe butted heads with someone. Who knows? But I believe one point he had made was that was just a conglomerate of fighters. No one really came out of that gym, or the gym never really gave birth, or
teammates, I think is what he was trying to say. It's just a bunch of people that show up.
They just show up and fight and train and whatever and spar. And it got back to Extreme Couture. And, of course, you line up 100 people. There's probably a name to this experiment, but if the first guy says to the second guy, I love dogs, by the time, and everybody turns to their right and passes it on, by the time it gets to the last one, it'll be,
we did that in school.
Huh?
We did that a lot in school.
Yeah.
Remind me to tell you a story after the show about that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, by the time he gets to the end, it's I sell drugs, I mean, literally it's what you want to hear or what you thought you heard. And so Sean at the time was their head coach. So I guess, that was his thing. Was like, what was that? But by the time it got to him, it was the Junkie Radio guy said.
Yeah.
The line of questioning started through Ariel, who was a guest of ours that day. King Mo was in there laughing his ass off because, King Mo likes to kind of be in the middle of that stuff. I don't think he knows that it's going to become what it does. But by the time it gets to them, they come back to us and say, what's the deal? We heard you guys were talking shit. We're like, what? And so Sean, yeah, he didn't take too kindly to it, honestly. And so I went down there to Extreme. He was training. He was doing a one-on-one that day, so it wasn't part of a big group or anything. And I walked in. I just figured it's got to be head-on. No phone, no text, whatever. It's right there, the gym. So I go in there and I said, he gives me kind of like a head nod. But that's not what he used to do. Before it was like, what's up, like the bro hug and all that. This time it's a head nod. And I go, can I talk to you when you have a sec? And he goes, I'm kind of busy right now, which he was. So that's why I told him, when you have a sec, I wasn't trying to interrupt it. The guy was like bear crawling or something like that. And so I go, well, I'll be here for a little bit. And I just kind of went off and did my thing. And then that workout actually ended quickly. And he goes, what's up, man? What's the word over there? Why do I need to be hearing these things or whatever? And I said, Sean, first of all, have you heard the whole thing? Because from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like what happened. You should be mad if you don't like that dude or whatever, I go, but for you to be thinking that if something goes and I did, that's not right. And he goes, well, I didn't hear the whole thing. And I told him, I go, look, this is kind of what happened, kind of like what I'm explaining to you guys. And he kind of nodded his head, understood, and said something, whatever. And then I told him, how the reason it went down the way it went down, and we were good. We were good. I came back, I told Goes, and we were good. Then Kip calls back the next day, maybe a week.
I think it was the next day.
Yeah, and even Ron Frazier came over, another Extreme Couture coach, and he had kind of like a defense towards everything that was said about extreme fashion.
I'll fill in some pieces.
There you go. Go ahead.
So he had called me up the day of.
Sean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we talked about it, and the part that sucked for me the most was, like, I told Sean, I go, dude, I wasn't even on the mic, and I was the first guy that got drilled on all this.
Mm-hmm.
I go, if you watch the video, I'm in the back. I had to give up my mic because there were 3 other people there. So I go, first of all, just between you and I go, if anything, you and I should be cool because I had nothing to do with any of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to tell you how it went down because I was there. So he kind of got it, and then the next day is when Kit called into the show.
But didn't Ron come in between?
Yeah. So
to offer a defense?
Ron said, look, we got torched. He goes, I think it's only fair that I'm allowed to come in and kind of argue against the stuff that Kit said. So I go, well, how am I supposed to tell this guy no? We're gonna allow somebody to come on and trash you, but you can't come defend yourself. So I
Right.
go, all right, Ron. I think at the time was one of the head coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ron came in, and that's when I think Kit called or whatever. And so then that same day, Sean sent me a text or called me or something. I just remember the point of it was I thought you were a man of your word or something like that. And I was like, fuck, man. Again, like I just assumed that you were on board with this, that this was maybe an extreme couture.
Well, let me fill in blanks
that
on you now.
that they sent Ron.
Right, because in your conversation you said, yeah, I mean, there's no reason to have him back if he's not really training MMA, and if he's just going to be talking about, a sex tape and bashing. It's not really our style of the show. If it happens on the show, it's not really pre-planned or anything. If someone says, I got something to say, we just wait and see what they got to say. But to do that again, it's not going to happen. So I think that's what Go said, like, we really don't have Kid on too often anyway, and I don't think we'll have him back. It was one of those fight weekends where a lot of people were in town. So anyway, that's, I think, the part of the word that you gave was that we just won't go down that road anymore.
Yeah.
And so then Ron comes in, and he gave a few examples of some fighters that had come through the ranks. Like Gray Maynard is a perfect example. He was basically born in the Extreme Couture gym, and he almost made it to world championship status. So anyway, Ron's on the show, and then Kit calls when Ron's on the show.
I think
Or
Ron
the
may
next
have
day.
left by then.
Okay.
Or maybe the next day.
He calls in, but he tells Jenny, our producer at the time, or Goes, or someone who was answering the phone, that he wants to apologize, right?
Yeah.
And he actually kind of did, but then he started in again. And again, like, I mean,
it's a live show,
Well,
you guys. Like, it's all happening at the moment. There's a guy that's saying he wants to apologize. Like,
right.
we just said, all right, fuck,
Yeah.
apologize.
We'll give him his chance, and he apologized. And
But it didn't really work out.
I think
that
he was
way.
apologizing more for the drama that it caused us or whatever. And frankly, look, man, everyone's a big boy around here. It's not like, oh my God, we were having nightmares or anything. But we were just as inexperienced at the time and really not needing to be in that kind of like finger pointing. Now, it's not what it is now. Honestly, the way the sport is now with all these Twitter beefs and shit, it'd probably be like just another day in the office. But back then, I think it was a little bit more like people were staying in their lanes. But
to be clear, at no point was it ever like, oh my God, I feel like Sean's gonna beat us up. Or
yeah,
anything like that. He was just
or
more
Kid is banned from the
Yeah.
show. It wasn't like that.
He
It
was
was just
more disappointed.
Kit
in the
wasn't
situation.
really a Vegas guy at the time. He was moving back and forth. That's why we didn't anticipate him coming on the show. I guess if he had a fight he was on the show after that. If he had a fight to promote or something, we would do it. But anyway, so then we get to so then he's back, and then he starts launching more Scud missiles, and then gets another text, and I can't remember if I went to see him after the second one or the
I
first
think it was
one.
after the second one.
All right, yeah.
And so that's when we talked to him, and it actually wasn't as bad as it sounds. Like, once everything was laid out, I think he had this like, all right, we're good. I still didn't like what happened, but we got as far as we were going to get.
Yeah.
And then I think throughout the years, like, everything just kept getting strengthened again, and
Yeah.
we were always good.
So it was
but there
cool
was
that
that one little...
that we were able to just get past that, and he would come on and co-host the show. He was one of the first like that would come on and actually be here for a couple hours. So anytime we ran into him, it was always really, really cool. But I guess one regret I haven't told this story in a few years, but it was in 2011. I think it was the junkie we were doing gathering. So I think he was here for a gathering. It was probably the first one, and the studio was divided in two. So a lot of times, like now that it's open in one big room, we can kind of see everything. We have the windows. We can see what's going on. At the time, we were sitting there, and we couldn't tell who was in the back. We'd have to be told someone's in the back. We'd have to take up the phones, check it out, see if an extra guest came along or whatever. But all I remember is those shows were really stacked, and if someone ran late, it just ruined everything. That's why today we're replaying our interview with Jorge Masvidal from yesterday, because yesterday was just, we had so many guests. And somebody came in that was of a big name and had to get in and get out. They were either early or I forget what happened. And I asked Sean politely, would you mind if we just switch your times? He goes, yeah, man, do what you need to do. All right, cool, And we did it. And then whoever that person was came in, did their thing, and again, just these blocks of times just got shortened. And I remember the time we wanted to spend with Sean, we didn't.
That was
If it
when
was
we
supposed to
were
be
on
30
TV.
minutes, it may have just been 15 or 10,
Yeah.
and I felt like there was still some things we wanted to get to. But he was cool. He went out there and met some people and took some pictures, and he left. But I just remember going, God, that sucked. Like, if others had been more considerate, this could have, not happened. And I just remember thinking, we'll have him back. A few months later, he passed away. We never had him back. So, yeah, that was one little regret that I had, was just as you get to know these people a little bit more, I would say that me personally, you're not supposed to play favorites, but subconsciously I probably do. Like, there's just people I know a little bit more that maybe I want to talk to a little bit more, or maybe I know more about them. And Sean didn't deserve to get shuffled in and out so quick. It just happened on a day like that. He was a team player for us, and
The first
and
show
I just
ever
kept
had to do
thinking,
by myself was with him.
we'll have him again. We'll have him again soon. And next thing you know, it was a few months later, he passed away, and now we can never have him back on. And
Yeah.
he was really, really a nice guy. Tell you what, though, that crew, boy, man, you cannot underestimate them as far as, like, once the fights were over and they wanted to hang out and have a good time.
Oh yeah.
I remember one time they cornered me in Columbus out of the Nationwide Arena, it was called.
Affliction, dude.
It was one of those popular chains, like a Gordon Biersch brewery type.
Mhm.
And we were there, and over there they start at 10. The fights are over at 1. So I think most of their fighters had been done, so they were one of the early ones out. I had come out, and I was a fan that weekend. And I ran into them, and they're like, "Hey, come over and drink." These strong dudes that are like, got their arm around you, and you're not getting out of that little headlock. Come on, you're drinking tonight, All right. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm telling you, when they let loose, they're a fun bunch. Hominick, all those guys.
Ordesky.
Yeah. And I remember one time I finished my first beer. I ordered the next one. Was in the middle of chugging that one. I remember going to the restroom just to kind of break away, throw some water on my face. I literally just jumped out of the arena. I was still trying to catch up with people. Like, where you at? I'm over here. Come see us. This, that, whatever. And but they were just so much into me playing catch up. And I saw them in the restroom, take a quick piss, wash my hands, and then I'm standing there. They barge through the door. They go, "Get out here, your beer." I'm like, God damn. So I went over there, and sure enough, I had about 20 texts. "Where the fuck are you? You never called back, and we're trying to reach you." And then finally, they find us in Gordon Biersch, and they think I'm big league and some junkies. I think Tom West was one of them.
Ryan Begley.
And they're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, dude, I go in this vice grip over here, and so they were a couple ahead of me, so they were having a good time. But I could just tell they were a fun bunch.
Do you remember the movie The Lost Boys? They remind me of those 4 vampires. They're just their presence when they would walk into the room. They were always together, and they were always on the same page of what they wanted. At one point, like Joey Varner, who co-hosts the show,
Right.
Mark Beecher, like all those guys lived together in one house.
Mm-hmm.
Hominick. That's a crazy crew, dude.
And Sam Stout, former UFC lightweight, him and Sean were brother-in-law. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I'm sure most people do, but sometimes we don't all know everything. But Sean married Sam's sister. So they were brothers-in-law. And then Hordesky and Hominick, they were also part of Team Tompkins. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, those 3 run the adrenaline gym that Sean left behind. Something like that. It was a little bit of a business relationship.
Even Junie Browning hung out with them for a while and stayed with them.
He did. A lot of people went through the Tompkins house. Do you remember the kid? Ronnie Mann. Remember him?
Yeah.
Him too. Yeah. I thought there was another guy. But if other fighters came, like Paul Daly spent a week with them. If other fighters came from the UK, a lot of them stayed with Sean Tompkins. And Sean eventually broke away from Extreme Couture and started Team Tompkins at what used to be the Tap Out Gym, then became the Ryu Gym, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, little walk through memory lane there. I couldn't believe that it had been 6 years since Sean passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was yesterday, and today's 1 year since Rick Budos passed away. But a lot of people wouldn't, the Facebook and YouTube listeners wouldn't know who Rick Budo is because we didn't start Facebook and YouTube till about November or December of last year. But a lot of the Sirius XM audience would know who he is. Anyway, all right, folks, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about some of this latest stuff going on in our sport. There's been a few fight bookings out there. And, of course, Mayweather-McGregor. We're only about, 12 days away? Part of me can't wait, but in a way, I got caught up in it. It's actually turned out to be pretty fun. Dana White did some interview with the BBC saying that Paulie got crushed every round or something like that.
I wish I knew the truth to everything that's going on with all this.
I know.
Like I wish
that's the one part
they
where
just go back in the room and laugh. Like I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but who
well,
knows,
I was the guy that was begging for more trash talk and more selling of fights and more of a pro wrestling angle. It was just to hype
That's
up
what I keep
a
thinking
fight, and I think I got what I deserved. Like literally, I'll tell you what the worst one was when we come back from break. It was during the weekend where I literally read it or heard it, and I just remember going, "Oh my god!" Like literally almost through my eye, like rolled my eyes out of my eye socket. That's how bad of an eye roll it was. And it only took me half a second to catch myself and go, I guess he's doing what he's supposed to do, but like, there's gotta be fucking limits. Like literally, what's next? Our dad's gonna call in and say, "Hey, I want the winner." You know, I mean, literally, that's the level of these lies and exaggerations. Like, there's got to be a cap. The NBA used to pay these high salaries, and eventually the commissioner goes, "Let's put a cap on this." You know, let's chill out here a little bit. And I think that's what we need to do on some of this stuff. But whatever.
Do you know in pro wrestling
we have to react to it. That's why I have this reaction that I have. But what's that?
You know when like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they're homies for the longest time, and then one of them clotheslines the other, and then they walk up the ramp, and it's like him and Vince and Shane, and they put their hands up together like that, and you go, fuck, they fucked us over this whole time. We thought this was going on. I feel like that's going to happen at some point, and we don't know who those people are going to be, but they're going to do it, and we're going to feel stupid.
Wait till I tell you about that one, man. The one that I heard. When we come back, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93, and if you'd like to call in, it's 866-522-2846.
We back.
Big shout out to Gavin McCarran. I believe it's his birthday today. John McLaughlin's also listening on the Facebook chat right now. We're in commercial with SiriusXM. And we appreciate all you that tune in. You can hit us up via 866-522-2846 if you want to chat. Ugo Lopez from Tustin. Raider Kella from Hawaii. Abel Orozco from Santa Ana, Cali Refrigeration.
I like all those guys.
Martin Stabilo from Hawaii as well.
That's where I took a shit.
All right.
They taught Andy Griffith how to whistle. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio is wrapping up the final major of 2017, the PGA Championship, and looking ahead to the fast-approaching FedEx Cup playoffs. It's an exciting time in the world of golf, and your go-to destination is SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Sirius 208, XM92, or search PGA on your SiriusXM app. I like that song, Danny.
Today are all songs that start with the letter V.
V? So this is Vacation by the Go-Go's. The Go-Go's was an all-girl band back in the 80s. And the lead singer, Belinda Carlisle, was dating a Dodger at the time. That was like the big sports celeb hookup, you know? It was a right fielder named Mike Marshall.
Rihanna ruined
who became one of their 5 straight Rookies of the Year that the Dodgers had in the 80s. They had Fernando Valenzuela, Todd Hollingsworth, Eric Karros, Mike Marshall, and one other cat. Who was it? I can't remember, but 5 Rookies of the Year. So, I mean, it produced a title in 81, I believe, but that was kind of like the old regime, the Dusty Bakers and Ron Says and all them. But it did produce the 88 title. So, you know what? Steve Sachs? I think he was the other one. Do you remember all those names?
I don't think Steve Sachs is part of that group.
Yeah, well, let me see. We can look it up. Let me see. 5 Dodgers who won Rookie of the Year. Man, I got this damn tickle in my throat. In the 80s. I love Google. Well, I'll just look up the Rookies of the Year. How's that sound? It's better. How much will you give me if I'm right? If I got all 5, that's credit, right?
How about you owe me a Chipotle? So we'll just
I do? For what?
The other day when I told you, why would you look it up? I'm staring right at it.
Oh, yeah, okay. See where I'm at? I haven't looked, so I'm scrolling now, right?
Okay.
All right. The Rookies of the Year. Oh, it's the American League. Where's the National League? There it is. No, wait. Here it is.
They need a new vacation song.
All right. Fernando Valenzuela. Look. Shit. I already got it wrong. Steve Howe. Fuck. Wait a minute. Rick Sutcliffe. Steve Howe. Fernando Valenzuela. Steve Sachs was one of them.
But not part of that group.
But not part of the group. And it looks like it was only 4 in a row, not 5. Well, I suck. I thought Todd Hollingsworth was... Oh, here's some more. Look at this run they had. Eric Karros, Mike Piazza, Raul Mondesi, Hideo Nomo, and Todd Hollingsworth. So none of them, having 5 Rookies of the Year, did not lead them to a title because they haven't won one since 88. But these other 4 helped out on the 88 team. But the beast that year was Oral Hershiser.
Yeah.
Oral Hershiser threw 59 and 1/3 or some bullshit like that, or 61 and 2/3 innings with no runs. I don't know if we'll ever see something like that again.
That was my guy when I was playing baseball. Like I'm over, you know, when you're shooting the basketball, Magic Johnson. Like that's who yours probably like Nolan Ryan or something, right?
Nolan Ryan with the Angels.
He was a beast.
Yeah, but like that's an incredible. So what is it? Just and back then a lot of the guys would go the 9 innings. So right away 9 times 6 is 54. So we went at least 6 games with no runs scored, and maybe even a 7th or close to. That was really, really amazing. But he single-handedly, Kirk Gibson had a nice home run, but You know what I mean? I mean, this guy put the team on his shoulders, and these guys got the job done. Steve Sachs was one of those guys. There is a I don't know, a mental block for certain. I'm trying to remember who it's named after, but there was a St. Louis pitcher who had this block. He was a real good pitcher. And then all of a sudden, he started throwing wild pitches. And it's not that Mitch guy from the Phillies. Mitch, not Gaylord. Was it Gaylord? No, Mitch. I forget. Anyway, there was a guy, and they had a special on him, 30 for 30, 60, I forget. But there was a guy that had this block, and he just was not able to throw a strike consistently. I mean, he was wild. The catcher would spring this way and spring that way, and they literally had to send him back to AAA, and he was a legitimate starting pitcher. Steve Sachs, the Dodgers second baseman, he would field the ball, and he couldn't get the throw to first. It was a mental block. You know what I mean? Like,
I could see that.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
You've ever done that when you're just shooting free throws? You hit a bunch in a row and think about something, now you're off?
Yeah, I mean, but it's expected that if you shoot 10 or 20, you're going to miss some, you know? But you know what? When I played softball, if I fielded the ball, I did that a couple times, and I go, oh, shit, I don't want this to get in my head. So I started just underhanding it because I had plenty of time. If I was the pitcher, I had plenty of time to field the ball and just go, here you go. But if I ever threw it, there was times where you're in such a rush. Maybe you're holding the runner at third, and then when you turn around, you feel like you're in more of a rush than you are. And then, boom, now you cause all kinds of runs to score. How did we get into baseball? Somebody asked me today, Joe from H-Town, are we going to pick, align ourselves with
English Premier League?
English Premier League teams like we did last year? We had call-ins.
Yeah. It's like a letter of intent.
People called in to tell us who they would root for.
That was fun.
It was. We had a shitload of calls, but
when we get back from Virginia, I'm going to do another eliminator.
The phones just don't get lit up like they used to. So I think, we've been having a lot of in-studio guests, and a lot of people like to communicate via social media. So I think that's why we probably didn't do it. But, hey, if you have a team that you want to proclaim yourself to, hit us up. We're in the goddamn Facebook chat every day. The Facebook chat kind of just accompanies the show. Was told there's people that chat on YouTube. I don't peek in there. Do you peek in there?
Mike told me about that. I haven't peeked in there yet, no. But it's like a built-in chat.
Want to peek in there?
I don't know how. Let me see.
Let's see. I'll figure it out. Here we go. Oh, it's not the comments. It's the chat. That's right. Well, this is a ruthless group right here, man. Brooklyn Tube. What's up, boys? Hey, what's up? All right, we started off good. Gucci Kid was born bred at. Put game bread on. Oh, that's what he's saying. Where's born bread? Where's born bread at, he asked? Put game bread on. All right, we'll put game bread on. How long's the interview, Danny?
9 minutes.
Do we have any more commercials to take?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
So 9 minutes would take us to 53. All right. We're going to take this break, and when we come back, we'll play the Jorge Masvidal interview. Paul Rodriguez, Gucci Kid.
Paul Rodriguez is in there?
Yeah. Gucci Kid says, long not wasting my time with Masvidal and about. Well, you know what, Gucci Kid?
Is that
beat
fucking
it then.
dude riding on a unicycle? Or no,
I don't know.
Sense.
Yeah, he's I don't know what language he's talking, but we'll play that interview when we come back. We don't want to waste your time. Yeah, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Be right back. We're
In a
on.
minute.
We're on break with SiriusXM. All right, I got the YouTube chat on. All right, let's see here. Paul Rodriguez, George, will be on. When we come back, we'll play that interview. Yesterday, he had to do a pre-record. They're all live interviews, and we rarely do it. We made an exception because Jorge Masvidal is our boy. We wanted to get him in. He had a practice that needed to start and conflicted with our show.
Back in 30.
That's why we did it. But the show ran so long, with Paulie, and it just kept going and going with our other guests. We didn't have time. I mean, seriously, you could. This just can't be that big of a freak out moment that you had to wait one more day to hear it. And he's gonna talk about Stephen Thompson and that fight. So calm your nerves, Paul Rodriguez. Gucci Kid, you too. Fuck,
Stand by.
Go get laid or something. All right.
Charm, compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are gorgeous George and Goes.
The frenzy of the NBA free agency continues. Find out which players will be lacing up their sneakers for a new squad next season and how that will impact your favorite teams. Expert analysis and opinions on the latest free agency news, rumors and trades, all off-season on NBA Radio, Sirius 207 XM86, and listen anytime with the SiriusXM app. That SiriusXM app houses the MMA Junkie Radio show. As soon as the show's done, while we're over there grabbing a coffee at Starbucks, Danny's uploading the show onto the SiriusXM app, and you'll get it commercial-free and in HD quality in case you missed any part of the show. Now listen, the reason I'm lollygagging here is because I looked at the clock. Danny, we don't have time to play it right now, right? You said it's 9 minutes long?
It is 9 minutes and 9 seconds. So yeah, it would be really tight.
We would have had one of those moments where it just wouldn't have worked out. So this is how we're gonna talk a little bit of MMA here for just a sec, and then at the top of the hour it'll be commercial. It'll be a sports update, and then we have King Mo. Hoping he's training right now with a Cuban boxer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to have King Mo on the show. We'll play Jorge Masvidal. Faux show. I think we'll start with Jorge Masvidal. Make sure it gets done. We don't want to upset the Gucci Kid. And then Cheyanne Vlismas, hot prospect out of Vegas, formerly from Florida. She'll be visiting the studio. And we keep hearing in the Extreme Couture gym that she's the truth, man. She's going to be a great fighter, and she's looking to turn pro soon. So she'll be in studio. So that's what the show's going to look like. Now, in terms of what I was going to tell you guys before I kind of teased it and we didn't get to it, my bad. Did you see when Owen Roddy was asked? This is a guy I've never met, Goes, but he seems like a nice guy. I follow his vlog, and he's entertaining, and they're not like 3-4 minutes long. They're like 15 minutes long, and he shows you the house that they're living in, what they're going to do, the UFC PI, this, that, whatever. It's a likable vlog. I recommend it. But then he does an interview, and it was either with Marco or Ariel or somebody, and they asked him about preparing for Floyd. And he said it wouldn't have mattered that this is a 40-year-old Floyd or a 2-year retired Floyd. It would have been any Floyd of any era, and Connor's going to get the job done. Like, at what point do you just, like...
It depends how you look at that, though.
I mean, now is the whole point to just blatantly lie and blatantly exaggerate. I mean...
Well, because no matter what, even if he beats him this fight,
yeah,
it's not like everybody's calling him to have better skill set and defeat Floyd that way. We're thinking he's just going to get a good punch in, knock him out. So, yeah, that strategy would probably still work versus a younger Floyd. That's the strategy they're going in with. So I could see that. I don't think it's as crazy as it sounds.
Connor's just going to knock him out in one, and Owen says this, and John says that. But why didn't this occur to them like 2 years ago? When they were only fighting for like 150,000 or $1 million, why it didn't occur to anyone to go, you know what? We could probably knock this guy out. Let's jump in there and box Floyd Mayweather.
Because
easy.
You needed him to go up and wait and win the title up there and all that. The 170s, the 155 fights. I think
Like why bullshit around for 150 and 150 when we could be fighting for millions? They could have been doing this years ago. Where's that business acumen?
They wouldn't have gotten it back then. Nobody would have cared, right? You needed Conor to do these things for people to give a shit.
Yeah, I suppose. I just think that
if you go back 2 years ago, Conor wasn't on ESPN.
Like, I guess I'm a hardcore, so I see this and I'm like, whatever. They must be that confident that casual fans are fucking idiots, and they'll just eat that up.
Yeah.
Because the casual fan at some point does have a brain. It may be a little pea brain, but at some point they look at that and go, oh, wow, that was ridiculous. You know what? I no longer choose to follow this vlog. This is a waste of my time. Like, a lot of people want to tune in to intelligent fight talk at some point, and they want to hear about how this can exist. I mean, they're painting this picture like, oh, yeah, he's going to beat up Floyd in about a round, and then he's going to come back and fight the winner of Khabib and Ferguson, and that should be around, and then he'll knock out Woodley, and then John Jones, Stipe, and then he'll come back and beat Canelo Alvarez and Anthony Joshua. That's our plan. I mean, and Andre Ward. We're going to take care of all that. Like, literally. Might as well just say all that.
I think the difference between the casual fan and the hardcore fan is one of them, the casual fan, doesn't care afterwards, right? So you could say whatever you want. They're smart or they're dumb. They'll go, huh, that was crazy. But then they go, what did O.J. Simpson do today? And then they just move on to the next thing. The hardcore cares, and they break it down. They go,
they must have
wait a minute, is this guy crazy? And then they dive into it. The casual fan just goes, huh, that's weird. And then they look up at the screen and they go, oh, Real Madrid's playing right now? I think that's a difference. And I think they know that.
They must have done some extensive study, man, that just shows the human beings born in the last 20 years are stupid. Say whatever you want. They're stupid. They'll forget, or they won't call you on it, or they just don't care. I don't know.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, literally everybody's overthinking advertising campaigns. Just go out there and lie and say stupid shit.
The internet has changed things so much in regards to this type of stuff.
It doesn't matter what Floyd. We got him. We got him, man. It doesn't matter what Floyd.
Do you remember, you open up the newspaper, right? The sports section. You, me, Dad, we're all fighting over who gets it first. You read it. You read something crazy. And then that's it. I'm either going to talk to you or Dad or my friends. That's about it. Now you read something. And every single one of your friends is at your disposal to go, did you see that bullshit? And then you just go back and forth. You got everybody's opinions. It didn't used to be like that. I think it's brought out all the crazy in sports.
I hear you. All right. Well, Owen Roddy, like, love your camp and what you guys have done and everything, but it's just not going to go your way on Saturday or 2 Saturdays. And if it does, great, man. We'll be here on Monday to go, wow, I can't believe it. What an amazing KO. Because you will win by KO.
Will we, though?
You're not going to win by decision. There are no submissions in boxing, you know. And unless some parachute guy comes in and interrupts the fight, there will be some sort of an ending to all this. And what's your question?
I said, will we really be like that, though? That's my problem.
Oh, yeah. If he knocks him out, what can we do?
My problem is I think I'd still be an asshole because I think I know if they fight 100 times, Conor can maybe do that maybe 3 times. Does it mean he's better? In my head, am I really going to be able to say, yes, Conor McGregor is better at boxing than Floyd Mayweather when I know he's not? I don't know if I could be that guy. And I don't know if that makes me an asshole or what.
But that's more like the body of their
I can give him
careers
credit for doing it.
The one guy only had one fight. It's not like you can look into with extensive boxing.
Is he really boxing now? I mean, fuck, that's a lot of shit to say.
He might be boxing. If he knocks out Floyd Mayweather, he might be boxing. But anyway,
what the hell was that noise?
I don't know. I heard an interview with Badu Jack, and middleweight boxer. He was on At the Fights with Jerry Cooney and Randy Gordon. Shout out to those guys. They do a great job. And it's Mondays and Fridays. And they're on from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Do I got that right, Danny?
Believe so. Yeah, they're on right before us.
Right.
Before our first replay.
Yep, and they're solid. They had Badu Jack on. And they did the same stuff that we're doing, right? Talking to a fighter and then eventually trying to get to, like, well, what's next for you? And then Badu Jack said, I got my hands full on Saturday. As I was driving, I thought, yeah, you do. But I don't think whatever you say is going to change things. You're either the better boxer that night or you're not. Unless you got so caught up into thinking, oh, my God, my mouth is writing checks, that my body can't cash or whatever. That is the one thing that I really admire about a guy like Conor McGregor. And he's not the first ever, but he's one of the best ever at saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to knock him out on Saturday. And then after that, I want this guy, that guy, that guy. Because he's got supreme confidence, but he's got the big balls to put it out there and say, this is what's going to happen, and live or die, I'll answer to it. What Badou Jack and some of these other fighters, boxers, MMA fighters, whoever else, what they don't want goes is to say, yeah, I'm going to knock him out on Saturday, and the world will find out that I'm gunning for this guy next, that guy next. You know why? Because on Monday or Sunday or whenever, they don't want to answer to the people that go, I thought you said you were going to knock this guy out on Saturday. What happened next? And the memes.
But
and
it's different.
So they're scared. People are scared of that, and that's why they don't want to face it.
He's the underdog. He's Joe Namath. You can do that. If you're wrong, you're supposed to lose.
We'll be right back after this commercial and sports update. It's MMA Junkie Radio.
I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna have me some.
We're on? All right. All right. YouTube chat. Let's see here. You guys are pretty good. I got to give it up. Zachary Teal says, Paulie beat that ass. That's what he says. And Connor's side says something else.
Rounds didn't go his way.
He did. Connor's side says something else. Dana White said he dominated every round. And then we have the 20-second video. We don't know is what it boils down to. But I would say that the way Connor's been bullshitting as of late, and his team, yeah, you'd have to almost believe Paulie right now because he's at least conceding and saying he lost some rounds. Jake Troy, he's upset too, goes. He says, where's Masvidal? Yesterday was bullshit. Do these motherfuckers...
The whole fucking show was bullshit?
Like...
Jesus Christ, Paulie Malignaggi went off for like 45 minutes.
I know. And then we had TJ Dillashaw, former champ, on the show. And then Anna Hulaton and Angela Reyes talking some boxing. And if that wasn't enough... we brought a beautiful ring card girl here in studio to hang out and name some of her bikinis. And that just didn't make Jake Troy happy. He needed to hear George Masvidal.
If he goes to Coachella and one of those acts doesn't show up, the whole fucking show is bullshit.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Delamore, after midnight, says, watch your live chat every time you have one. Love the show. Thank you, person. Sir, ma'am. Gerard 03. Wow, sad story, bro. He says, JCG. What the fuck? YouTube, stop suggesting this garbage. It's like a dislike button. Stop referring to garbage like this. Jake Troy, this is trash. I'm here to see what's going on with Masvidal. Oh boy. All right. Well, you'll find out soon. We're gonna replay the interview from yesterday when we come back.
Don't waste my motherfucking time.
Elias is really only
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah, we honestly, most people watch through Facebook, and most people listen through SiriusXM and YouTube SoundCloud and iTunes, and not many people know that we're on YouTube, honestly. So most people, like I said, push the Facebook. That's why we're usually in Facebook. Is having George Masvidal on the title just clickbait? No, bro. Learn your history a little bit
I
about
wish you could just shut your big yapper.
MMA Junkie. We don't need to do that. I think it might be, but I'll listen regardless. Thank you, Kate. Joey-O, where the fuck is George? They should have started when they had guests instead of coming up to stuff to talk about. Oh, our bad. Tribute to our
meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure it's raining bitches.
Tribute to our fallen comrades, Sean Tompkins and Rick Budo. Our bad. Didn't mean to pay them respects. Jake Troy, ha, for real. I'm not even trying to hate. But this is kind of lame that we're into clickbait, goes. MMA Junkie's built on clickbait. USA Today bought us because they go, hey, where do we get clickbait at? Let's get MMA Junkie aboard. They're the experts at it.
Oh, right. To call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people.
But they're entertaining, man. They're entertaining. What's up, JD from the IE Survivor Series 07? 216 is going to suck. Well, they haven't released the main event, co-main event, or featured bout, so I think
there's a quiet matches on there that I think are very interesting.
Relax a little bit, Survivor Series. Don Piccolo. That's from Ranch Santa Margarita.
Doncho.
He's in the chat there. So
you son of a bitch.
YouTube's kind of happening. Adam Zuniga, the Zoo, is in there. Gigi trying to use logic with anything his camp says. Yeah, really. I know. I deserve to get stun gun, I guess.
What we're living in, let me tell ya. Well, it's a world that man can eat at all. When things are big, that should be small. Who can tell what magic spells we'll be doing for us? And I'm giving all my love to this world, only to be told I can't see, I can't breathe, no, my will will be. And nothing's gonna change the way we live, 'cause we can always take but never give. And now the things are changing for the worse. See, wow, it's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't see that half of us immersed in sin is all we have to give these futures made of virtual insanity. Now always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless twisting of their new technology.
Pretty cool song.
One of my favorites.
Really?
Yeah. It's just unique. It's kind of, he didn't have that many, but
all right, here we
had
go.
a cool music video that went with it.
It's the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Well, the YouTube's pretty interesting, their chat. So there's two chats. There's one with YouTube and there's one with Facebook. I thought Facebook had it going on. There's way more views on Facebook than YouTube, but there's some cool people on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of hardcore junkies and a couple of jackasses, but for the most part, it's been fun in there. And the Facebook chat, I wish I could combine them both. There's really some really cool people on both of them, but regardless.
Have a crossover event?
We'll talk to Marco from Waco, and then we'll play the Jorge Masvidal interview before Jake Troy has a heart attack. Marco from Waco, ¿cómo estás?
Marco from Waco, ¿qué pasa? Tell that J guy to chill, man. Rick Buro, 1 year ago today, man. I know you're in heaven, brother. So take a look down and realize the air is round, ain't no debate. Enjoy the angels.
Yeah, he lived a great life, man. I mean, for people to have a chat, for people to shed tears, man, he may not have been like Princess Diana or nothing like that, like with that kind of fame, but fuck, he touched a lot of people. 1 year later, people are still gathering, having a mass and all that. So
I think that's what you want to leave, right? Is you want people to miss you when you're gone.
I guess, yeah.
So
yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
He did
and I miss him, and I shed a tear when he died. So, yeah, definitely miss. Thanks for saying that, Marco. Continue.
Yeah, real quick. Donald Trump, check this out. Neo-Nazis, freaking KKK, freaking white supremacists, fuck them. That's what they should have done on Saturday, Donald.
Yeah, man. Talk about dropping the ball. That guy. He felt like both sides make mistakes that night or that day.
He just never.
Our thoughts and prayers are with that young lady's family that lost her life. I'm sorry I don't have her name, but there was a young lady that lost her life in Charlottesville, Virginia. Many were injured. There was a demonstration there that definitely went sour. And when the president came out and spoke, he was very insensitive, and yeah, don't even get me started on that one. Then he had one yesterday in which he referenced Saturday, and yet again I think did a poor job of communicating and to America, to the American citizens. He is our leader. That he made a mistake, I mean, he did name groups this time around, but it was almost like, well, for all the shit I got, here we go, like that type of thing. We got to replay this bad boy. See, when you're the president, you shouldn't have to replay. Your first message should be strong, man. And I told you guys from the very beginning, you might as well have grabbed Kermit the Frog and sat him in that chair at the White House and said, hey, you lead us, because that's what we have right now. A fucking Muppet is what we have in the White House. It's embarrassing, man.
Okay, guys, let's listen to that Jorge Masvidal interview so we don't piss off the people in the chat. We better leave you guys tomorrow.
Okay. Yesterday we spoke to Jorge Masvidal, UFC welterweight, just to kind of get an inkling of what might be next. Look, we were hearing rumors of Stephen Thompson, and we just kind of wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. And honestly, George is just a great guy to catch up with, regardless if there's an actual fight booking or not. He's hilarious. We did have to cut it a little short because he was going into practice. As you'll see, he's in San Diego helping out Jeremy Stevens, a relationship that they formed, a few years ago out of respect back in the Strikeforce days. And then, of course, we pick his brain on Mayweather-McGregor because George has boxed professionally. And I think he would have a good idea of maybe what we can expect, at least through his lens. All right, so here's the replay of our interview with Jorge Masvidal yesterday. Take it away, Danny. Joining us now on the hotline is UFC welterweight Jorge Masvidal. What's up, Game Bread? How you doing?
What's up, big man? How you doing?
We're doing good. I know you got a practice coming up, so we'll make it quick. But is it Stephen Thompson you've been holding out for this whole time? Because we can't wait to see you fight again.
I can't wait to see me fight again too, man. So I've been super anxious. Yeah, I've been waiting for Thompson. That was said a while ago, and we've been waiting for the knee to clear. I'm just waiting till it's on paper, because I don't know how much longer I have to wait for the clearance,
I think via his social media there was a clearance, so he's ready to go in time for New York. I imagine it's now a done deal then.
The way I see it, man, is until I'm in that cage, it doesn't count because this has happened, and it's no diss to Thompson, but this has happened previous to the Cowboy fight. It's happened like 4 times that I had a signed bout agreement with a certain fighter, and that fight didn't materialize. So I don't believe it till I'm in the cage always.
Who was a certain fighter?
Oh, I've said it on your show several times. I had it twice with Bobby Green.
Magny.
With No, we didn't have a bout agreement, me and Magny ever. With Bobby Green, we both had a bout agreement, and with Ben Henderson, we had a bout agreement. And for one reason or another, the fight just didn't happen,
I got
so
you.
It's just, yeah.
George, how have you, how, did you take that loss hard, the one versus Damian Maia? Did you get over it quickly?
No, I took it super hard. I mean, that loss is with me every day of my life,
Was it as simple as, I guess, if you would have had the Tyron Woodley blueprint, which is don't even go to the ground at all, you could have had your hand raised that night?
Yeah, it could have been a couple of different tweaks. In the Woodley fight, I saw a lot of things that we wanted to do in the first fight. I just kind of messed up in the first round, and that gave up a lot, I had to use a lot of energy to get him off my back once he got the hooks in there. But yeah, there's mistakes I made that I'm just upset. I just wasn't 100% myself that day. I just little things that I could have fixed this way, that way. I'm not making excuses. I was 100% injury free. Everything, I was ready to go. But in just certain movements that I did, I could have done them a little bit better. So that's the only thing that I'm really regretting in my mind. So I can't wait. We're gonna have a rematch, me and Maya, one way or another.
Either way, you represented yourself well because Maya had 6 fights before yours. And, he definitely paid you a lot of respect. So I do believe you guys will tangle again. And the fact that they're giving you Thompson means even though you lost that night, your stock didn't drop much, according to the UFC.
Yeah, a lot of the people from the UFC were saying that I won and stuff. I think Dana White said it too. A lot of fighters supported me too because I did obviously the damage. Now, you judge the fight 2 different ways: either damage or control. My stock drop, but in my book, I don't like giving up control. I work daily not to give up control to anybody. That doesn't happen to me often, so it's something that it doesn't sit with me well.
When the fight was taking place between Maya and Woodley, were thoughts running through your head, that could have been you, or is that just a whole different fight, a whole different scenario, and you stay out of it and just become a fan?
Oh, I was just trying to become a fan, mainly because I like Woodley, obviously, teammate, and I've known him for a while. I was rooting for Woodley, so I was more just watching it as a fan, just enjoying the fight.
Jorge Masvidal, our guest here on the MMAjunkie Radio Show. Goes, what do you have?
George, I've heard you and your teammates say several times, you're only going to fight each other if a title were on the line. But so many of you guys are clogged so close up at the top. Does that stance ever change if it's like a contenders bout, whoever wins goes to the title, or is it still that strictly only for the title?
I mean, I don't know, man. It depends because there's, like you said, a lot of guys at welterweight. It's crazy. It depends, you know.
What are your thoughts on Wonder Boy saying he agrees, he verbally agreed to fight you, but he also wants a piece of Robbie Lawler? What are your thoughts on that fight?
He could fight Robbie after he fights me. He could do whatever he wants after he fights me.
You've always been a company guy in the sense that you'll fight anyone, anytime, any place. We rarely hear you arguing over money or placement or anything like that. Have you ever talked to Dana White? Has he ever at least given you a pat on the shoulder? Hey, man, thanks for being that guy that'll take these type of fights. I mean, if you had a chance to talk to him, what would you tell him?
Not to pat me on the shoulder because I don't like it. I don't like dudes touching me, so that'd be a no-no right there, you know.
Good thing you don't play baseball. They were always patting each other on the butt.
Yeah, I don't like that shit, bro.
All right, but no, seriously, just to piggyback off. Yeah,
man,
do you like the way your career's being handled so far? And he said, what would make you a happier employee? What would make you happier?
More money, obviously. This is a big part of it. Is more money. Just I keep getting big matchups. You know, I feel like now I'm finally in the driver's seat. I had the Maya fight. I got now. If I get the Thompson fight, I'm right back in the driver's seat. You know, to where I could get in bigger money fights. You know. So the goal is to be the champion and to get the most money as possible.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. These high-profile fights you've had, I think, proves to you that you're definitely one of the best at 55 and currently right now at 70. So I'm sure that's got to be a confidence lifter. Even though it wasn't your night in Dallas, you're close, you know, and some big fights are coming your way. And perhaps in 2018, you know, that's the year Jorge Masvidal becomes a world champion. George, let me ask you this: you're on the West Coast. Can we talk about that, or?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes. So you're helping Jeremy Stevens prepare for Gilbert Melendez. Does this have anything to do with the fact that you fought Melendez, or are you and Stevens, have you guys been close even before?
No, me and Stevens actually known each other since I fought Melendez because he came out to help me and give me movement and stuff, you know. And I've always told Jeremy, hey, whenever you need me for a fight, let me know. I'll go help you out to repay the favor. And we never got around to doing it till right now, you know.
Wow, that's pretty cool because that was like 5 years ago, Strikeforce. I remember that.
Yeah, it was a while ago, yeah.
All right,
so I've known Jeremy for a while, but he's a cool-ass dude, and he invited me to his city. And I've always liked San Diego since I fought over here, though I took the L when I came over here. I've always really liked this city and wanted to come back, so I was like, fuck yeah, I'm there.
Mm-hmm. And the last question, just because everybody on Earth's been asked this, your thoughts on the Mayweather-McGregor fight that's coming up here in about 2 weeks?
In a fight, anybody has a chance always. Anybody with two hands, you know. Now, against Mayweather, those chances drop dramatically, you know, like huge. But in the awkwardness that I think Conor brings to the table within the first, 2 minutes, something like that, maybe he can make something happen, you know. But I think as the fight goes past the first round into the second and third, it's obviously going to be Mayweather by a lot, you know.
Your name's come up because we've said no disrespect to Conor. I mean, he's obviously done a lot of great things in MMA, but really, somebody, if somebody was to cut down to 54 or 55 or whatever, I guess it's 54 that this fight was made. We felt like there was a few other MMA fighters that had better boxing skills, and you'd be one of them. We felt you'd give him a better fight in boxing than Conor.
Oh, I think so too. I'd be able to box, you know. I might not have the greatest power in the world, but I could box, you know, like hit and not get hit. That's something I could do very well.
Could you go 12 with Mayweather?
I would definitely go 12 with Mayweather with any boxer, you know. If the money's there, if I was gonna get paid money, man, I would love to fight Triple G because that guy, you know. That I would love to I'm that type of dude. Like, I want to challenge myself, so I would love a fight like that if the money was right. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. All right, bud. I know you got that practice going on, so thanks for the quick catch-up. And once this fight's official, you've had a few weeks of training camp, maybe we can dive a little bit more into the Thompson matchup. But it does sound like it'll be you and Thompson in New York, and that's probably good news for everybody. Thanks, George, as always, for the time.
As soon as I get the bout agreement, you're going to be the first one to know, player.
There you go. All right, my man. Take care. We'll see you.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
All right, see ya.
10.
That is Jorge Masvidal, one of the best interviews in all of MMA. We just had to make it a quick one today because he's starting up practice
5.
out there at Alliance with Jeremy Stevens. And we'll be right back. All right, folks, there you have it. A pre-record with Jorge Masvidal in good spirits, hanging out with Jeremy Stevens in San Diego as Stevens prepares for Gilbert Melendez at UFC 215 in Edmonton, Canada. That's headlined by Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Borg, and with the co-main event of Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko. So, big fight for both guys. Jeremy Stevens has been experiencing more losses than wins as of late, and of course Gilbert dropping from 55 to 45. This is kind of like a fresh start for him, but at the same time, he's coming off a few losses at 55. So some stock has dropped between them, but they've done so much in their careers. It's still a big fight. It's a big name fight for both guys. For those that don't know, actually, Gilbert Melendez holds a 45-pound belt. He was a Shudo champion before Strikeforce, before WEC. He actually held that title at 45. So, anyway, we're going to take this break. You're listening to MMAjunkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. When we come back, we'll talk to Cheyanne Vlismas, who is an amateur MMA fighter looking to go pro soon. And she fights out of Extreme Couture. She'll be here in studio, so we'll talk to her when we come back. We will still see if we can connect with King Mo at some point. If not, we'll reshuffle him until tomorrow. We want to get his thoughts on that Mayweather-McGregor fight. He was a part of TMT for a while. And, of course, he's fought MMA. So I think he can put himself into the mindset of both guys. We'll be right back after this break.
link into the MMA Junkie Radio Network. Hit us up on Twitter.com at MMA Junkie Radio. This is MMA Junkie Radio. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Go.
SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio is wrapping up the final major of 2017, the PGA Championship, and looking ahead to the fast-approaching FedEx Cup playoffs. It's an exciting time in the world of golf, and your go-to destination is SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Sirius 208 XM92, or search PGA on your SiriusXM app. Look, I read these because it's part of the job, but wow, I don't know about if there's any exciting time in golf. I've yet to tune in and go, wow, this is exciting.
There's not even like fights between golfers, right? Where you could even go, hey, everybody come in.
At least in NASCAR, they'll get out of the car sometime and like, hey, why'd you cut me off? Or yeah, and in golf, man, I don't get it. Where's the athleticism?
The worst part about the whole thing,
you know,
is
like
in every sport there's pressure, but in golf they say, hey, everybody, shh, keep it down. I need to work here. Whereas in other sports, you're screaming, you got all this stuff going on around you.
This is Cheyanne Vlismas, by the way, our next guest. See this, Cheyanne? This will be golf. They'll go, he now needs to drop the pen onto the notebook. Can he do it? Shh. He's about to hit. Here it comes. He did it! Oh, my God. He did it. Give him $5 million.
No.
You know, it's like, whereas like in baseball, you'll get some dude up there, and I mean, there's like these thunder sticks, and there's people cheering, your mother sucks, this, that, whatever, and then you got another guy that's going to throw 100 miles an hour of baseball that can hurt, man. If it hits you in the head, you could die, right? And he's coming off of a mound, too. He's like about, 3 or 4 feet up? No, about 2 feet up. And he's coming down 100 miles an hour trying to get it into the strike zone. It's super loud, 60,000, millions watching at home. He doesn't tell everyone, shh, quiet. I need to hit this. Quiet. But the guy that's putting, it's like a little 2-foot putt. All he needs to do is this, the equivalent of this. And people just go nuts.
It's dumb, right?
It just doesn't make any sense.
This is how bad golf is. It's so bad.
There should be loud noise in golf.
They came up with a way to make it more interesting and called it miniature golf. That's how bad it was. They're like, man, we don't want to do this. Let's throw a couple dinosaurs.
Welcome to the Golf Channel.
Golf is so boring. When you read that, I don't even know what you read.
Yeah,
kind of
but we got to do it. Like, there's people out there that like it, and so tune in to the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
Welcome, Cheyanne. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. You know, I think, don't quote me,
they don't even carry their own clubs.
Oh, I know some.
Hey, buddy, can you take my stuff from me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
And they
drive to each thing. So stupid.
Don't quote me on this, but haven't we called her fights before?
I think we may have called one of her fights.
Yeah, so you've been part of Tough Enough for a while.
Yes, sir.
And you fight out of the Extreme Couture, except you moved to Vegas about, a year and a half, 2 years?
You're actually right on.
I remember when we called your fight, you were out of Florida, and I think it was the Tampa area. Don't quote me.
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying don't quote me?
I don't know.
You're pretty good, so I'm not even having to.
Yeah, so I think it was Tampa.
Can you raise your mic just a little bit?
Yeah.
So we've called your fight, and then we heard you moved out here. So pretty cool that you're part of Extreme Couture. It's a great team, and it looks like you're in great hands with your manager, Misha Tate.
Yes, sir. I'm in great hands with her, and thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing the show. Like I was asking you earlier, there's no fight set as of right now, and you're kind of in between where you can take one more amateur fight because you're still a young lady, 22 you said, right? Or if it's the pros that are calling, you're down as well. You got enough experience, you're ready to go there too.
I mean, I'm ready for whatever's put in front of me. I mean, if it's one more amateur fight, then it's one more amateur fight. If it's going to be pro fight, then hey, I'm ready to, rack in my amateur record and go pro and start back 0-0. But honestly, I just listen to my coaches and I do what I say. So honestly, if I would like to have one more amateur fight if it was against the same last opponent, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we're kind of looking at some other things right now.
Why do you think she doesn't want to fight again?
She doesn't want to get hit in the face for free again, she said. So unfortunately, to me, it's she doesn't love what she does. So apparently, to me, it sounds like she needs to find something else. Me, I have 17 amateur fights, and that's because I love it. And I'll get punched in the face all day for free because it's something I love to do. So to me, it was a bogus excuse. But
it is nice to get paid, right?
It's nice to get paid, but at the same time, if you're passionate in something and, in no disrespect to my last opponent, but if you looked like that and you were handed the belt from a freak accident and your coach is telling you need to stay amateur and you're saying no, then I think she needs to reevaluate herself. To me, it's a disrespect to her coach, and it's just not the honorable thing to do, as me and Misha like to say. So, but hey, I'm gonna still try to push for it. I do like to be, respectful of my opponents, but hey, I can get a little down and speak the truth. So
let's recap that a little bit. I know it's probably not one of your favorite moments, but it did happen for the audience to know. In the last amateur fight, you were dominating a fight, and you dislocated your elbow. Fight had to be stopped. She wins the fight.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like a loser that night walking out of the cage, right?
Oh, absolutely, I did.
You did?
Only because the belt wasn't staying with me. But after, the next day, couple days, getting all the love from everybody and my coaches and watching the video again and again and again, I definitely felt like the winner in that fight. I don't believe it's always about the record. I don't have a perfect even, record. So, to me, looking back, I definitely do feel like the winner, and I felt like I should have left that cage with my head held high instead of with my head down low like I did. But, hey, it happens.
A lot of emotions that night.
Yeah,
hard to figure it out. Like we just had Daniel Cormier, who is, he's been to the Olympics for our country, and he's been an All-American in wrestling. He's been a Strikeforce heavyweight tournament champ and a UFC light heavyweight champ. But on the night when he lost to John Jones, he just lost it. Like, the emotions just come out in different ways. You're not thinking straight. Whatever you felt was just all you. You had every right to feel any way you wanted to, And
yeah.
Don't worry about how you felt that night. It's how you feel now.
Yeah, and I had my head held high. The craziest thing I dislocated my own elbow, but I haven't skipped a beat in the gym. I'm already back. I could probably fight her and beat her right now, and I'm not even healed. And that's how confident I am because I haven't skipped a beat. I made sure that I was going to make this injury, a positive, not a negative. And, I was hopefully, to be motivational to everyone who has gone through injuries and use it as an excuse. To me, I woke up every day saying there's veterans that have their arm and legs amputated and they still make it through life. To me, it's just an elbow and it's still attached to me. So, whatever life's got to throw at you, you got to roll with it. So
was it the situation itself and how it went down, or is a little bit her and her reaction?
Both. It was more of, I watched it. I messed up. I posted out on my own arm. I dislocated my own arm. It happens. But then the way she dealt with it, and I've never seen anyone so excited to take a win like that. And, and what was crazy was while I was walking to the back, they were awarding her with the win and the title, and I just lost it. And, in the back.
Started throwing chairs around or something?
No, I was just sitting there calm, and her coach came up to me and was just like, congratulations, like you were absolutely winning that fight, and it was a shame. And, I thanked him, and then I seen my opponent, and I was like, she was like, yeah, sorry about your arm. And I'm like, yeah, no worries, I want my rematch. And she tells me no. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I'm sitting here with my arm dislocated, telling you I respectfully would like the rematch, and you're going to tell me flat out no? And I'm sorry, but you got your ass kicked? I was like, wait. But all the emotions running through your head, you're just kind of not thinking straight. The only thing I had in my mind was, and the only thing I kept telling the doctors and the ambulance was like, when can I go back to training? When will I be able to fight again? Because that's the only thing that's important to me. But, when you want something, you kind of got to go and get it. And me, I really want her. And I'm trying to go get that. And,
Sounds like Beneil Dariush. He was really consumed with Ramsey Nijem when he lost to him for a while, and it took him a few fights to get over it, just because Ramsey from then on started losing, whereas Beneil started winning. It's just he got him early on, but who knows if it'll wear off, or maybe at some point you guys' roads will cross again. But you said you're still healing, so you're not 100% back from the elbow injury? It was about 2 months ago, right?
It was 2 months ago in 2 days. Actually, I feel like I'm 100%. I just haven't seen my doctor. I actually go tomorrow morning, and my physical therapist at our gym at Select Physical Therapy, he actually believes I'm good to go. Because, I've been training. I've been using it. It honestly feels like it's not even, injured anymore. So once I find out tomorrow morning, I believe I'm good to go. So they were surprised. It was no surgery, no nothing. So,
Want to test it? You want to arm wrestle or something?
Yeah, you want to?
I don't think it's going to be a good look for you, George.
It's the lucky elbow now, so.
Then George will be out for 2 months.
She didn't back down at all. I thought she was going to go, oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah.
She was like, let's do this.
She said that she doesn't want to fight for free. But does that open the door for a pro match?
I called her out on Instagram and I said, hey, you don't want to get punched in the face for free. I said, well, I'll be happy to fight you in the pro league. And I said, any promotion out there that'd like to set this up, I'd be happy to. Because, there's a lot of pro promotions that do know me. I have a lot of fights. I've been an amateur for a very long time. And I've had 2 people reach out. King of the Cage said they want nothing to do with her. So that was a no. And then I had WFC reach out saying that they would definitely make this match. But so it's cool to know that I have options. But to me, I'm just going to let my coaches pick, My coaches, me, Ray Seppo, Dennis Davis, and Misha all sit down and, talk on what the next adventure is for us. So, we're a team, so I can't be making the decisions. So,
what if the next fight is someone else? Would that bury this fight? Would you just get past it, or at some point, no matter what, at some point in your career, would you like to do it again?
Probably not. If it's not her, then what my coach Dennis Davis told me is that night I made her look like an amateur, and I'll never forget those words. And
I like it.
He told me that, and he said I'm on to bigger and better things than her. So if she doesn't want to, then we shouldn't be stuck on her. But me in my head, I'm like, right now, absolutely, I want to try to push for it. But if it's not going to be her, it's not going to be her. I'm not going to stress her because she knows who really won that fight just as much as I do. Unfortunately, my elbow lost. So I just kind of joke around and, just make jokes saying, yeah, sorry, I felt bad for you. You're getting hit too much. Had to stop the fight for you. A little wink face. So, I just got to make jokes and make fun of it because if it's not going to happen, then, hey, going to smile and move on with my day.
What brought on the move to Vegas? Was it fighting it tough enough and just getting that Vegas time in? Or because that's Florida to Vegas. It's a long way to go.
A lot of things. Because of Tough Enough, I was coming out here a lot, and that's not cheap as an amateur, for one. And about 2.5, 3 years ago almost, we came out here, my boyfriend and I, to come train for a week, and we went to Extreme Couture, and, the head coach, Dennis, was just so great to us, and, I got my butt handed to me every day at practice, and I left there, feeling really good about myself, actually, learning something, because, my gym in Florida, I love them always, but, we were a smaller gym in a little warehouse, and, I was the only female, and I was a female beating up some guys, so I knew there was something wrong, and I knew if I really wanted to test myself and get myself better, I had to go train with the best, and so my boyfriend, we got up, and we traveled all the way across the country to come out here, and man, it's just been a blessing, so, I don't look back.
So you're part of Misha's run to the title, too, then, huh?
With run to the title?
Helping her train?
Yeah, well, no, meaning because the gym, reached a super high when Misha became world champion back in, it was March of 2016. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you were here in time to be a part of that, I guess?
Yes, yeah. I was here a month before it happened, but I knew Misha from, not very well, but I didn't know of her, and she's met me from when I did come to travel and train, so that was cool. And also 4 years ago when I came out here for a fight to cut to 105 on a week and a half notice, she actually came upstairs to help me cut weight in the gym and give me some, tips. So it's pretty awesome, 4 years later where we're at now.
What I mean is the gym has been in existence for a little over 10 years, and they've had world champions, and then Gray Maynard came close, but a lot of the veterans had moved on or retired, and then a new crop of young fighters came through, and then when Misha won the world title, it really lifted the spirits of the whole gym, and
it was
really, really big for the gym.
That's why it was huge.
I was saying that you and your boyfriend came out, it sounded like in time to experience that and see that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was actually working on the strip at that time when she fought, and man, Las Vegas definitely has her back, man. It was awesome. And then going into the gym, she came right in on Monday for a pro practice and with that title, and it was awesome. And, just to see that, because, obviously that's goals in life too, but just to see how happy she was and, the gym, just everyone together, it was, it was pretty great.
Are you a full-time? Sorry. Yeah, are you a full-time fighter, or do you still have a job?
I am a full-time fighter, but I do work part-time. I work about 20 hours a week.
Where do you work?
Orange Theory Fitness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were telling us that earlier. Because she woke up at 3 a.m. today? 4 a.m.?
Yeah, 3:30 in the morning.
Damn, I saw that.
It's early.
6 a.m. strength and conditioning. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Same
that
time
must
as
be a
Danny, he's
busy
on the East Coast.
strength and conditioning coach or something. Like his or her slate must be pretty full if you have to get in there at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to be a full-time fighter, and sometimes, sleep. You got to stay up sometimes and do what you got to do. So.
All right, here's a question I always ask the in-studio fighters. Share a good street fight story with us.
Which one?
Ooh, I like hearing that.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't told anybody about my street stories yet.
How about we throw scenarios and you tell us?
Okay.
A bar?
Yeah. Actually, I broke my hand on some guy. We were at a bar. It was right after my first kickboxing fight. We go up to meet up some friends.
What city was this?
Tampa. St. Petersburg, Florida, actually. And we meet up with my boyfriend's friends, and we get in there, and I'm in a dress and heels, and I pull up, and we're all about to take a shot, and next thing you know it, these just drunk guys just, started flirting with my friend, and her boyfriend didn't like that, and I was the only one watching everything, and I was like, oh, great, here we go. And they started arguing, and then they went to go jump him, and so I
How many did they have in their group?
Quite a few, but we had more. But
at the time, it was just them.
It was just them two, and then another person came in, and then when
So you're like little by little just kind of creeping up because you know something's about to go down?
Yeah.
All right, so then take it from there. What happened? Who threw the first punch?
Oh, I did, for sure.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, you don't touch me.
Well, so they touched you?
Yeah, well, yeah, they went to go, double leg me almost, it was like. I don't know.
Double leg.
That's how they were going to start the whole thing?
Well, they were fighting, and then this other guy came in, and, I don't know if he got pushed on me, but as soon as he touched me, it was like, oh, no, you just messed up. But I just remember uppercutting him, and he went backwards and landed right next to my boyfriend, and my boyfriend just picked him up by the shirt and just tossed him across the bar. And luckily, the supervisors were seeing everything that happened, and we were good to stay. So, yeah, that was one. That one.
But you broke your hand in that one?
Oh, wait, no, not that one. That was another one.
Oh,
wait.
Let's hear the other one now.
Man, guys, I'm not looking too good.
No, these are all. We always tell everyone these are stories from our past, and
yeah, this is street cred right here.
Oh man,
watch this be like last Tuesday.
No, this one was a couple years ago. We were actually at a pro event in Florida, RFC.
The mean streets of Tampa again?
Yeah.
All right.
And you know how MMA fans are. They think they know it all. And our friend was fighting, and the guy he was actually fighting, I actually highly respected as well. So, I'm watching both fighters. And
so this is in the arena?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the stands. And this big old 6'5" country, 300-pound dude was, talking reckless. And I just looked over, and I was like, hey, man, it was a good fight between both of them. Leave it be. And he turns around, and he was like, shut up. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, really? And then my boyfriend was like, hey, don't talk to my girl like that. And then I was like, oh, okay, nope. And I grabbed my boyfriend. I was like, hey, let's just walk away. And while we were going to walk away, he comes up and blindsides my boyfriend and then pushes me on top of him.
The big corn-fed
hillbilly
the big
corn-fed, hillbilly. And so
he blindsides who?
My boyfriend, because he walks away and then comes in and runs and hits him on the side of the head and then pushes me.
Things escalate over there in Tampa, huh?
Yeah, it does. And then I got pushed on top of him, and the whole gates fell down. And I just remember getting up and jumping over and just smashing him. And then his mom tried jumping. I was like, if you want it, you can get it too. And yeah.
But he was 6'5".
Yeah.
So you literally
fight with his mom there?
Well, his mom was wanting to get involved, so I told her.
You were both standing?
Oh, yeah. No, I was. He pushed me to the ground. And then I immediately hopped back up. I didn't even pick my boyfriend up. I immediately just hopped up, and there was people coming. And I just pushed and jumped to hit him. Okay. And when I hit him right on the chin, that's how big old boy he was. Broke my hand right on his face. And that sucked because I had to fight a month later.
Did he fall down or what?
Oh, no. He stayed right there.
Okay.
He stayed right there. I was like, man. I hope he felt that because my hand felt that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
Well, how'd the fight end?
I had to leave.
Oh, okay.
They made me leave.
Were you doing this?
Oh yeah. They
Yeah.
immediately put ice right
Could
on
one
it.
say he won the fight then? Maybe, or
Probably did.
Oh, wow.
But you know what?
and what happened with the mom? What was the angle there?
I don't know. Just hillbillies. They don't fight alone. They fight together. I guess. I felt like they were all coming after me, and I was like, "Your son hit me first. Well, push me."
We won't ask you any more today, but I don't think this will be the last time we have you on. I heard you're a great fighter and you have a lot of promise, so I anticipate. But do you literally have a bunch of these, or because you
Not
almost
a
made it sound
bunch
like
of fights,
here come?
but, I mean,
I have a ton of stories. These are pretty good. I like
She
'em.
was processing. You could tell when we asked her.
Yeah, because I mean, I have some that I probably shouldn't share. Because I mean, I don't want people to look at me and be like,
Did you break a bottle or something?
"No,
No. Okay. All right.
no."
Well, we'll hold on to
No.
some for a while.
Just craziness, But
What do you think's gonna happen? Deep, in your gut, are you turning pro, or do you think you'll have one more for Tough Enough or whoever? If you had to lay out 2017, how does it work out for you?
probably going pro. Honestly, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to, make that switch, and I'm mentally ready. I'm mentally to show everyone that I'm here to stay, and I'm here for the long run.
And are you thinking, there's all these paths to your career? Are you thinking Invicta, Bellator, UFC, wherever fate takes you? Which way do you want to go?
Absolutely, I want to go to the UFC.
Okay.
I mean, that's no doubt in my mind. I've met Sean Shelby. He knows who I am. So if I just keep staying on this right path, I know I'll be there. And, that's all I can say.
How did it work with Misha? We just had Gustavo on last week, and then Gina was here too.
Yeah.
Did she just come in one day and go, I want to start managing fighters, and then you all raise your hand, or did you individually go to her, or how did it work out, at least, between you and Misha?
Honestly, Misha, she's just been, she's always been a sweetheart to me, always. And, just here for the past couple months, she's kind of brought it up to me. But her and Gustavo are like brother and sister, and her and Gina have known each other for a very long time as well. But to be honest, I was actually kind of shocked that she would want to manage me over some of the other girls in the gym. So, her coming up to me at first, I was like, no, she's lying. She doesn't want to manage me, right? And then, after this last fight, she literally had my whole entire fight on her Snapchat, and she was just posting that she was in the back. I was like, all the support from Misha, I was like, man, she probably does really care about me. And when she came up to me after this fight and was just, it was funny because she called me and she waited a few days and she was like, if anyone knows what it's like, it's me. So,
That's cool to see someone that really wants you that bad,
Yeah. And so, she helped me with my elbow a little bit, telling me some things to do. And, she was just happy to see me back in the gym right away. And, me and her, I'm hoping to go to the top with all of them. So
what happens now, though? Because she kind of peaked being on MMAjunkie Radio so early. It doesn't get bigger than this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're
yeah,
going to do.
I know. I've been following you guys for quite some time.
ESPN, maybe? I don't know.
But
it's great to have you here, and wherever the future takes you.
Yeah,
like I
hopefully.
said, we're a local show. We pop in the Extreme a lot, and
why haven't you said hi?
Yeah, George.
I think
Gorgeous George.
I think we did, and you gave me the Heisman or something like that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
practicing, man. Leave me
I did it
alone.
from far away.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously, we hope to have you back. We're starting to do more of, this was a radio spot, but we're starting to bring in a lot of the fighters to be our co-hosts for the whole 2-hour show. Misha's done it in the past.
Awesome.
Brad's done it. Ray just recently did it, like I told you. So we'd love to have you like that so we can, definitely talk more with you, and then you can help us interview fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Ray's one of my striking coaches, so I was actually bummed I wasn't with him because we were trying to plan that, but it's all right.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I didn't know that was the deal. Okay.
Hey, did you still want to arm wrestle about it?
Which one's the elbow that hurts?
This one.
Oh.
The lucky elbow.
What if I did something dumb, though, and then I set her back?
What if my elbow just popped right back out?
That's my excuse for really kind of being a chicken. All right, listen, you can follow Cheyanne on Twitter. It's Chyvelis, so it's CHEY and then VLIS. Hopefully I said that right.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to promote, or you want to give a shout-out to your sponsors or anybody at home or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to all my sponsors. NutraFX, always supplementing my body. We got Fighter Elias, that's actually local out here in Las Vegas. What else do we have? We have Babes of MA, who's all over as well.
Babes MMA.
Babes of MMA.
What do they do?
They just more social media for me.
Yeah?
He throws me like $50 to $70 here and there, to go get some blood work. So I mean, he's always just been on top of it.
Oh, so he's a guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought babes.
Yeah.
I thought I'm picturing a bunch of chicks in bikinis that are involved in MMA.
You were excited about that.
I was,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, burst your bubble on that one, but no, he is a guy, Mike. He's just always sponsored me since before I even started fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Mike. Who else? We got
Dennis Davis.
Yeah, Dennis, my coach. Ray, Misha, Reynolds Management.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you very much for stopping by and doing the show.
Thank you, guys.
And again, we'd love to have you in the future. Folks, that's Cheyanne Vlismas. You can follow her on Twitter. Again, it's CHEYVLIS, part of the first name, part of the last name.
Yep.
King Mo has texted me, and he's ready to go, so we're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we'll talk to the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champ, get his thoughts on Maymac, as well as his fight that's coming up versus the former Bellator light heavyweight champion Liam McGarry. So pivotal matchup for those guys. I imagine the winner could get a shot at Ryan Bader, their current champion. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back. That was Cheyanne Vlismas. Earlier we had Jorge Masvidal on the show, and we're going to be joined by King Mo soon. Danny, how are we looking on that one?
He's there.
Oh, he's
you
there.
Guys are gone.
All right, so we're
King
ready
Mo.
to go with King Mo, the former light heavyweight champion at Strikeforce. Now he's a money-weight fighter for the Bellator MMA organization. You just never know what he might be up to. Open weight, heavyweight, super heavyweight, light heavyweight. He gets down, and his next fight is coming up against Liam McGarry. And it's coming up at Bellator in October. So now he's starting the camp. We usually catch up with him on fight week. He should be a little bit more relaxed now. What's up, King Mo? How you doing?
Man, I'm just chilling, man. Just leaving the boxing gym.
Yeah, you were mixing it up with some Cuban boxers, huh?
Yeah. One guy named Casiba, I don't know, but he's a junior world champion, junior world medalist, junior Olympic champion, junior world medalist, world medalist. Boy's a beast, you know what I'm saying? But he be toying with me out there, you know what I'm saying? He's solid. I saw with some dude from Australia and some other Cuban cat. And my boy Shoeface, Carlos Zapato. You know, so as far as avoiding okay.
All right. Talk about a little bit about the Cuban boxers. A lot of people don't know this, but years ago, the Cuban boxers obviously they just wouldn't participate in anything other than the Olympics because a lot of their athletes just couldn't turn professional. But a lot of their boxers really would have been world champions in the 80s, in the 90s. I'm sure you remember Teofilo Stevenson, one of the great heavyweights that would have been mixing it up with Ali and Holmes and all those others. Yep. Yeah, so but the Cubans, we talk a lot about their wrestling on this show, but their boxing is second to none as well.
Man, it's a combat sports program overall. Wrestling, freestyle, Greco-Roman wrestling, judo, you know what I'm saying, taekwondo. Man, their combat sports program is unbelievable. The boxing's off the chain too, man. Like, they're very schooled. Like, the gym I was at was where Luis Ortiz trains at. Payano trains there. Claudio Marrero trains there. They got some beasts there, man. And everybody there is solid, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Very technical.
Mo, at the same time, I remember you used to get a lot of rounds in over here in Vegas at TMT, with the money team. Can you compare the two? What were the atmospheres like? Are they very similar or very different or a little of both?
Still kind of similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's working. Everybody's cool. Only thing is you hear more Spanish here in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Because all the Cubans are down here. So, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's like money team. You know what I'm saying? The neighborhood gym's like my own home. And then my boy Herman's gym, where Luis Ortiz trains at, that's in my other home outside of American Top Team.
Right.
So yeah, I love being there, man. If I could be there every day and just do my sparring, jiu-jitsu and everything now, I would do it. I just like the atmosphere there.
Mm-hmm. King Mo is our guest here on MMAjunkie Radio. And folks, what we'll be doing is staying a couple minutes past, doing a little bit of overtime, so I'll do the normal soft exit for our SiriusXM audience. Of course, you all can join us at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow with another edition of MMAjunkie Radio. The rest of you, if you head on over to our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/official MMA Junkie. You'll be able to hear the extra minutes of overtime. Myself and Goes and Danny, the producer, will stay over with King Mo a few minutes as we get his thoughts on not just his upcoming fight versus Liam McGarry, but the big showdown involving Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. He, again, used to train with the money team here in Las Vegas, and, of course, he's been an MMA fighter for many years, so we'd love to get his perspective on that. You can follow King Mo on Twitter, at KingMoFH. Our other two guests were Jorge Masvidal, game-bred fighter, and Cheyanne Vlismas, at CheyVlis, CheyVlis. So I'm going to do a soft exit here. It'll just be 20 seconds or so. We'll join you again, Mo, because we got a few more questions for you.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
All right,
folks.
No
problem.
You're listening to MMAjunkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. The SiriusXM audience will get more combat sports and entertainment coming your way. And we'll head on over to the Facebook page. We'll see you in a couple seconds.
All those hopes down the drain. Fever, Las Vegas turning day into nighttime, turning night into daytime. If you see it once, you'll never be the same again. I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna have me some fun. It cost me my very last dime.
You guys clear for overtime?
Hey, Mo, I wanted to ask you a serious question because you always keep it 100 with us. This past weekend, we had the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, and they had a red carpet. I came across a video, and they were asking Shane Mosley a couple questions. He did not sound as good as he sounded in the past. Do you have concerns over all of this combat sports that you've been involved in, wrestling, MMA, training in boxing? Like how much are you aware of TBI and what it can do? Because that was sad to see. I'm not saying he was all messed up or anything like that, but definitely if you compare that to the Shane Mosley I've heard in the past, you could just tell he was a little bit slower. And I thought, God, man, this this is a real thing, this TBI. You know, I've known that for years, but just I need these reminders every so often, and hopefully you fighters as well are looking out for each other.
Oh, bro, check this out, right? Here's the thing. I noticed his speech years ago because I remember you seeing Sugar Shane Mosley on USA Tuesday Night Fights. He had the gap back then. When Sugar Shane Mosley had the gap in his teeth. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching him fight way back then, and I could hear his speech slowly start to change. About 7-8 years ago, you could hear it. You know what I'm saying? You could see it, and it's something seriously you got to look out for as far as TBI and other brain injuries. But the thing is, with me, when I spar, I don't try to kill nobody. If a guy's trying to kill me, I wear defense. I wear bigger gloves. If I saw guys that bigger, I'm hoping they wear bigger gloves as well. 18s. You gotta be smart out there. You know, a lot of times people try to go out there and they try to fight instead of spar. Sparring is just practice. You know what I'm saying? It's practice. It's where you go to work on your skills. I call it work sparring. Like, for instance, if you ever watch Jose Aldo, he posted something on Twitter, I think, or Instagram. I saw Thomas posted, and I watched the video. That's work sparring. They're not trying to kill each other. They're trying to work on things. Like, I can spar with anybody. Say I'm going to fight Liam. If I spar somebody, I'm going to work my game plan on Liam, on that person. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to try to go out there and kill him. I'll work on certain specifics of the game plan. That's called work sparring. That's what I do. And that's how I like to spar. That's how I like to train. Work. Not kill, but work.
How often do you get your bell rung?
Not much.
Okay.
That's not much at all. Like I can tell if a dude hit me good, I'm like, okay, he hit me good. That's a good one. But not like, whoa, I'm on like wobbly legs. Never like that.
King Mo, our guest here on MMAjunkie Radio. I guess we'll take it to Liam McGeary and the fight you have coming up in just a sec. But let Goes get some questions in. Goes, what do you have for King Mo?
Well, you kind of brought up bigger guys and training with them. That being said, we've known you as a money weight. Have you closed the door on heavyweight and fighting there ever again?
Nah. You know what? Like, nah. I just I'll take whatever is open. Like, I'm not that big. You know what I'm saying? At 205 heavyweight, but I just use my brain to win fights. You know, sometimes I use guts, but I try to use my brain to win fights. But I'm open to whatever. You know, it's a fight game. We're in the game to get money and belts, and I'm trying to get both.
You've seen so many types of fighters, you know, the type of fighters that you faced in your career. Where would you say Liam McGeary matches up against some of those guys? Is there anything he's bringing that you feel like maybe you haven't seen in a past opponent?
Yeah, well, he's tall, but Hodger Gracie is tall. I think he has more pop than Hodger Gracie. More aggressive than Hodger. Ground game's not nearly as good as Hodger, but he has some unorthodox stuff that I already know how to stop. Because after watching him fight on the ground one time, I figured out what he was doing. Because I have a lot of black belt friends that I talk to. I pick their brain all the time. And I figured out what he was doing just from all the rolling around I've done with the high-level black belts. But he's very unorthodox on the ground. He's a Japanese, kind of a Japanese style of jiu-jitsu. Not very tight, but he just throws stuff up for submission. On his feet, you know, good jab, decent left hook, right uppercut, good knees, solid kicks, you know. But takedown defense is pretty bad. But other than that, he likes to be on his back, so he accepts the jiu-jitsu. He takes it. He accepts it, and there's a fight off his back if he can't keep it standing. So my thing is just to keep him uncomfortable on the feet or on the ground.
You've trained at a lot of gyms throughout your career and gotten a lot of different looks. Do you feel like at all of these gyms at some point there was something good that came out of them, or could you look back at a certain time and say, wow, I think I may have wasted time here?
No, but the thing is, like, I've trained a lot of gyms but I've only been a part of a few gyms. But the thing is, I could go, like, you know, when I have a chance, I could go to other gyms and just pick up new things, or even if I knew things I pick up, some things be reinforced, like, hey, Mo, when you throw that jab, snap it. Don't push your jab, because I can watch people spar and they have bad habits. I'm watching them get punished, you know. So every time I go to the gym, I always pick something up, pick something new. Doesn't matter what gym it is. It could be beginners, but I'm always going to pick up something new because I'm in the game to learn. Like I said before, the moment you stop learning is the moment you start losing. You have to adapt. You always have to adapt, because I'm not trying to be stuck in the 2008 style. The game is changing. It's evolving. Now the new trend is boxing, as you see. The new trend is boxing. For a while, it was kickboxing. There was sprawl and brawl, cage position, wrestling again. Now it's boxing. That's the new trend now. You'll start to see it more and more.
King Mo, our guest here on MMAjunkie Radio. So we'd be remiss not to ask you about Mayweather-McGregor. Boy, you're lucky you don't live in Vegas, man, because you'd be fucking throwing up, sick to your stomach. I mean, it's non-stop talk. But at the same time, people are talking about it. We can't get away from it over here. I don't know about what it's like over there. But I guess I wanted to ask you. We were asking all the top fighters that we've been interviewing for the last few weeks. What are your thoughts on this fight? How do you think it goes down?
When they fight, what do you think goes down? What do y'all think goes down? Come on.
I would say that
my prediction was Mayweather knocks him out within 4 rounds.
I think he gets him somewhere between 6 and 8. I feel like he's going to feel him out first couple rounds. Then he's going to realize he's just a way better boxer. And then I think he's going to toy with him. But I think at some point he's going to go, you know what? I have the opportunity to really embarrass this kid, so I'm going to drag it out a little bit more.
Right, and I think the first round will have a little bit of what Anderson and Nick Diaz had, where Nick Diaz was very polite to Anderson in the lead-up, and as soon as the fight started, he turned into a G, and he started mocking him and taunting him. And so Conor likes to do that. He likes to talk, throw his hands up, have his hands down and clown a little bit. I think he's going to try and do that to mess with Floyd. So I think that first round or two might just be like wacky, we'll call it. But I think things will settle down at some point because, they'll throw some firepower at each other. And Conor will realize, hey, I really have to have my hands, protecting myself here. Otherwise, this is just going to be a horrific night. And I think by then he'll realize it's too late. Floyd is just too talented. And like Go said, Floyd's going to realize that even though he's gone 12 with most of his fights as of late, he hasn't finished a fight in 10 years. It's because he's in there against, high-level boxing, guys that have been doing it all their lives. And I think with Conor, he'll see that the holes are big and he'll be able to exploit them.
Okay, both of y'all kind of right, but kind of wrong. Like, I forgot one of y'all said that Floyd's going to fill him out and realize he's a better boxer. Floyd already knows he's a better boxer. I think Floyd's going to go out there, walk him down, touch him up, work the body, and stop him. It's funny because a guy texted me. I forgot his name. I'm never take his name down, but he was like, yeah, Mo, let's make a bet. I think that Conor's going to win because, he grew up his whole life boxing and this and that. And I'm like, bro, he didn't grow up his whole life. He boxed for, early part of his life, then went to MMA. The moment you leave, like what you're doing, and go to a different sport, your whole game, your level changes on that. It's like for wrestling. I can't go back and wrestle these guys and at the U.S. Open. I get smashed because I've not wrestled at that level. And a lot of techniques I've used in MMA, or a lot of techniques I used to use in wrestling, were conducive to MMA. I think Floyd's got to go out there, walk him down behind the high guard, beat him up, touch his body, and stop him. Probably a corner stoppage or maybe referee stoppage. And they better hope, the commission, they know what they're doing, but to have Floyd fight 8-ounce gloves versus Conor, who's making his pro debut, is kind of dangerous. Let him fight 10-ounce gloves. 8-ounce gloves, Dana White can say what he wants, but 8-ounce gloves ain't going to help Conor. It's going to help Floyd. Unless Floyd hurts his hands in the first round, but I don't see it happening, man. I'm glad Conor believes in himself, and the thing is, anytime a man believes in himself, it's hard to discount that person. He believes in himself, but so does Floyd. And Floyd's been training real hard. I know I've heard stories about him stopping people at the gym. Heard, you can look at his body. He's not overtraining. He's training smarter now since he's gotten older. Because before, back in the day, he used to train so hard that he'd be doing 141, 142 after practice. You know what I'm saying? So, now he's training smarter, listening to his body, and he's become well prepared. You know what I'm saying? It's his last fight. I think it's his last fight, honestly. Because I don't think he wants to come back and fight no Errol Spence's or Charlos or Lubins or anybody like that. He tries to stay away from them. So I think it's going to be his last fight, and he's going to go out there, walk Conor down behind the high guard, and beat him up.
What round?
I think that it'll be over before the 5th. I think Floyd's just going to touch him, and punish him. Floyd will be touching him, talking noise to him, touching him, and finally when Floyd sees Conor, drop, MMA, a lot of times in MMA sparring, when MMA guys spar boxers, we do this thing where we take a step back or 2 steps back, We drop our arms, take a deep breath, and shake our arms out, then reset. That means we're done. I've done it. I've plenty of spar. I've sparred plenty of people. Luis Ortiz, Trevor Bryan, Brian Jennings, Steve Gaffard, Andy Tabiti, Michael Hunter, and every time I spar them guys, I've done that move where I take it 2 steps back, take a deep breath, shake my arms out, then reset. I'm done. That's a sign of you being done, and you're gonna see that with Conor.
All right, there you have it. Mo, are you at least rooting for Conor? I mean, we already know your prediction, but who are you rooting for? Who do you hope wins?
I'm close. Well, whoever Jeff's rooting for is who I'm going to go for. Honestly, I really don't care. I hope they both get paid. I hope no one gets hurt. I'm more interested in Triple G versus Canelo. That's a fight I'm looking forward to see. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor. All the casual boxing fans, the people that want Conor to win, tune in for that because hopefully you'll be happy if Conor can pull it off. But for me, myself and I'm looking for a Triple G versus Canelo. That's the fight that's the real fight. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight of 2 guys in their prime. One guy has 1 loss, but it's to Floyd. The other guy's undefeated, knocking people out. I don't know, man. That's a fight where everyone's like, who's going to win? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. With this Floyd Mayweather McGregor fight, you ask MMA fans, they're like, oh, we're going for Conor. But you ask the people that really know boxing, they'll be like, man, it's a mismatch. Just like when James 25 Randy Couture. Mismatch. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. I hope they all get paid well. I hope they play a good show. The undercard, the main card looks great. So I hope that, everybody's entertained by what they purchase. Me, I'm just I'll wait to watch it on Facebook. I'm probably going to watch Cotto versus Kamagai on HBO. I'm not going to pay $100 to watch a guy make his pro debut versus a guy that's 49-0 looking for his 50th win. Five-time world champion, a guy that's a bronze medalist in the Olympics that should win gold. The guy's been boxing his whole life, plus a family of boxers. I'm not going to watch that mismatch. You know what I'm saying? That'd be like me. That'd be like you guys tuning in to watch me grapple Buchecha or Roger Gracie. They'll smash me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tune into that mismatch.
What if Dan Lambert says, "Hey, I'm having a fight party. Come over, barbecue and everything."
Nah, I'm cool.
Wow, you're not interested in the spectacle, huh?
No, bro. I watch pro wrestling. You know what I'm saying? That if I'm gonna watch anything, I'm watch pro wrestling. That's spectacle. That's entertaining to me. You know what I'm saying? Ring of Honor, Global Force Wrestling, WWE, NXT, New Japan. I watch all that. You know what I'm saying? That's my spectacle. That's my event. When Floyd said this ain't a fight, this is an event, ding ding ding, open your eyes up. For if you know what I'm saying, that'd be like me saying me versus Liam's not a fight, it's an event. No, it's actually a fight. At an event.
All
you know what I'm saying? A Bellator event.
Don't let me catch you tweeting that night, because then we'll know you were just fooling about and joking with us here. I hear you. I hear you. We're on the same page. It's a mismatch. That fight should not be happening. I didn't even want to see it, but I got so caught up into it that, you know what? I'm on the opposite side of you. You said I hope no one gets hurt. Hell no, I want someone to get knocked the fuck out just so somebody can eat crow after both sides have been talking so much. Well, I know, for example, that more than likely it's McGregor that's getting knocked out. But if McGregor pulls it off, I'll be happy for the MMA guy. And guess what? The other guy, I guess, just isn't undefeated anymore. You know, I mean, it'll be a shocker to me, and I'm definitely not going to bet on Conor. But I guess at this point I changed my tune and I'm tuning in.
Let me ask a quick question real quick, right? Let me ask a quick question.
Right.
Did you watch Michael Phelps versus Shark? Did you watch that?
No, I didn't watch that.
Okay, why not? Why didn't you watch it?
Nah, not interested. I mean, unless they were going to grapple, then I might watch it.
If the Shark could talk shit, I'd watch.
The race is spectacle. Or did you watch Donovan Bailey versus Michael Johnson, the 150 race?
Yeah, I did. I actually did see that one. I did. I promise you, I'm telling the truth.
Guess what? We all got hustled because guess what? Donovan Bailey's a master in the 100-meter dash. Michael Johnson's good in the 200, but even more so in the 400. But we all tuned in thinking that we're going to see something spectacular. And guess what we saw? We saw Michael Johnson get beat off the blocks and pull up because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Now as far as seeing someone get knocked out, look, it's part of the game. But man, after seeing like Magomed Abdulsalamov and Pritchard Colon and Joe McCullough and seeing all these people get like, I'm thinking twice. I'm thinking twice about knockouts are cool, but if Conor goes out there and say he gets hurt because the commission allowed like 8-ounce gloves, then what? What if he's a vegetable? You see Pritchard Colon or Magomed Abdulsalamov? Magomed Abdulsalamov was 18-0 with 18 knockouts before he fought Mikey Perez. After that fight, he was 18-1 in a coma. Now he's a vegetable. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool with like watching a mismatch like that because I watched Pritchard Colon fight his last fight, and that still messes in my head because I saw him leaving the stretcher. And I thought he'd be okay. And then next thing I know, he's in a coma. Then I see a video of him in a wheelchair. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Like, if it was like a kickboxing match and Floyd had to train with like Georgia Petrosian for a year or two, then I'd watch it because that'd be more competitive. You know what I'm saying? But watching Conor fight Floyd in a boxing match, you know what? After seeing them follow soldiers in boxing, deal with what they're dealing with right now, I'm cool with not watching that.
All right, let me change the tone for the last and final question because I still want to test Mo one more time. Mo, you have a daughter, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I got daughters.
I know you like to watch cartoons, so I'm just going to say you're sitting at home on Saturday, August 26th. You're changing the channels. The next thing you know, you see Tom and Jerry. The cartoon's about to start. And just as it's starting, you know, you like cartoons. They're going to make you laugh. One of your daughters just happens to step on the remote, and it hits a channel, and it takes you to the pay-per-view. And you're like, what? I didn't order this. And you realize you're getting a free transmission of McGregor and Mayweather. The fight's about to start. And your daughter goes, I'm sorry, Daddy. You want me to change it back, or should we just leave it on? What would you do? Would you leave it on McGregor versus Mayweather, or would you tell your daughter put it back on Tom and Jerry?
I rewind it to watch the main card because you know if you order pay-per-view, you know what I'm saying, when you order it, there was stuff before it will play. So I should wind it, watch the main card. I watched Tabiti fight Cunningham. I watched Cleverly fight Badu Jack. I watched my boy Kevin Newman fight. I watched all the good fights on the undercard, but the main event, I'll forego. Like, let me tell you something. When Conor fought, what's that boy's name?
Wait, you're wiggling out of this. Hold on a second. Would you watch McGregor versus Mayweather or Tom and Jerry?
No, no. I'll tell you. No, I'm watching. I'm telling you, when Conor fought that dude from Alpha Male, I was there cornering Robbie Lawler. Right after the fight, I went to my room, man. Because look, I watch fighting every day. You know what I'm saying? But I like competitive fights. I'm not gonna watch no mismatches, man. Straight up. When he fought Chad Mendes, I didn't watch that fight. I left. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was there. I left. I never watched that fight. I just saw highlights the next day. Never watched it. I'm okay with not watching everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. I would watch Tom and Jerry because I know Tom and Jerry is more competitive than Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor.
So Tom has a better chance of beating Jerry than Conor has of beating Floyd?
Tom wins from time to time.
He'll get his shots in.
Yeah, he gets fucked up most of the time, but he has won a few times.
It's 50-50, but the thing is, I just don't want to. My thing is, I don't want to watch something and watch something real bad happen, and like an Owen Hart type thing. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Owen Hart. I'm not trying to see somebody get injured to the point where they can never fight again or something like that. And the way things are going, it could possibly happen with the guy. Think about this: if the guy make his pro debut versus a guy at the caliber of Floyd Mayweather, I don't give a damn how old Floyd is. I don't care if Floyd's had a problem with southpaws. People seem to forget he's undefeated versus southpaws. He ain't lost. Like,
he's only lost 6 rounds out of 72 or something like that, or 84 against southpaw. He actually does really good against southpaws. I keep hearing that as well, and when you go back and look, he hasn't lost that many rounds against even the southpaws. So yeah, I guess they're just looking for ways to build the fight. But listen, my man, we took enough.
Fights were for Castillo and Emmanuel Augustus and Cotto. 7 fights.
Yeah,
Maidana too.
Maidana was a lefty. Zab Judah was yeah. Thank you very much for the time as always. We look forward to your fight versus Liam McGarry, and hopefully the winner gets Bader, man. Keep racking up them belts. Yeah. And it's great catching up with you. Thanks for making time for us.
Thanks, bro. All
right, we'll see you. All right, folks, that's King Mo, and that's our show for today. Thanks to Danny for staying late. Goes as well. The audience. Couldn't do it without you guys. We will see you all tomorrow with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. Go out there and be champions.